King Gates, New Orleans savior. What up, Tony Bruno? You're now listening to the finest sports radio show. You're now tuned to the Tony Bruno Show. What you don't know about sports, Tony Bruno knows. Fox Sports Radio. Let's talk about the day. Plays, news, headlines, and what's an outrage. What up Wednesdays? We got hockey action, yo. Flyers, Phillies, Sixers, Eagles, Hall of Famers come and go. Thank God it's Friday. Miss Robin, get the corkscrew. Tim, tell Tony that he's my favorite sports team. NFL, bring the wood. MLB, step to the plate. Just like the NBA, we going hard in the paint. $1 million voice, you heard him on John Madden. He's bald like the Eagles, you're an honorary captain. Download the podcast, follow on Twitter. One Sports Radio's legendary figures. You're now tuned to the Tony Bruno Show. What you don't know about sports, Tony Bruno knows. You're now tuned to the Tony Bruno Show. What you don't know about sports, Tony Bruno knows.
You are looking live. Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's my boy, Chris Mad Dog Russo. A tribute to him on this free-for-all doubleheader simulcast. You're not going to miss anything. Friday show on the final Friday of June, Robin. Do you realize that next weekend will be, actually next Thursday will be 4th of July? You know what that means, right? It means that this upcoming week, people will pretty much mail it in from Wednesday on.
No.
Well, yeah, because 4th of July is Thursday, which is really, it's really good for people who want to have a really, really, really long weekend because as we've talked about many times on the show, a 3-day weekend, not enough. A 4-day weekend, not enough. How about Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? So Wednesday's got to be included. Or do you tack on the Monday? We'll get the people's responses today as we are underway on twitch.tv, BrunoNation Live. Thank you for all of our subscribers, all of you who are listening for the first time, all of you who want to know, where the hell have you been? We've been here for 4 months. Where have you been is a big question. Our loyal audience gathers around the radio, the crystal set, their VCRs, whatever they have, any kind of electronic device. Their Commodore 64s are plugged in right now. They're saying, Tony's back. And almost better than ever. And yesterday, of course, we'll get into that. We got all kinds of great stuff today.
Yes, we do.
A lot of baseball. We got women's soccer. Soccer, I didn't even blank her, is the question that I'll throw out there first to the folks.
Oh, I mean,
Isn't
you
soccer,
go with the obvious.
Isn't soccer offensive? I mean, soccer implies physical action here.
In the English language.
Exactly. So
yes.
I just wanted to make sure that that's not offensive all of a sudden, that the term soccer when it comes to women is not offensive. Because I'm part of the Me Too movement. I always say, hey, me too. Whenever I see...
Two chicks at the same time, man.
Exactly. Anyway, quarterfinal action today, Robin. France and the USA. Who are you rooting for today?
This one would be U.S.
Gee, it took you that long to figure it out.
No. I mean, I'm with you on that. If it's Holland, I have to vote for Holland.
It's not a vote, Robin. This isn't the baseball all-star game.
Root for.
Vote for Holland.
Vote.
Nobody votes in Holland. Nobody votes in America. And thank you. Our walk-on music, you hear it. Whenever you hear that little blurp, that's called walk-up music. That's our subscribers and our followers joining us on our live stream chat. And we welcome all of you. We've got an amazing thing happening. Earlier this week, we did a simulcast with my boys Harry Mays and Eitan Shander on their live show, which is on at the same time we are, over on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Right.
And now today, it's been promoted all weekend, all the media sites. I found out last weekend, Gary Radnich, longtime radio icon, sports radio guy, obviously a guy from the Bay Area, in the Bay Area Sports Hall of Fame. Gary Radnich will be doing his final show today, and we will join it live right here. So I'm going to let Gary run that half hour. It used to be called people called it, not me. I don't make those kinds of terms. The best half hour in local radio. But Gary, people dubbed it that. So Gary called me and said, hey, I want Tony to be on as part of my final show on KNBR because for 17 years we were together. He was there for 28 years. I didn't call him and say, hey, Gary, you got to have me on your show. Gary called me and said, you know what? I'm making the decisions here. I'm booking my final show on KNBR.
I know. That's what, I got the text message from the producers back on KNBR station, and they're like, "Yeah, Gary's booking it. We have no idea what's going on."
Even the producers don't know what's going on. I think Gary gave them the rundown about 10 minutes ago, and so we'll call, and Gary will run the show as we used to do, and because it's his show, it's his final day, so I'm going to allow him, which he always did. I'd call into a show, and then he would throw stuff at me. I'd throw it back, and then we'd have a half an hour of craziness, and hopefully it'll be fun. And it should be fun.
There's no doubt. I mean,
some people don't like fun, Robin. Some people want everything to be serious.
Well, I don't think I've ever encountered a moment between you and Gary that was not just you guys just riffing.
Now, there were some shows when there was a serious story. Obviously, we dealt with it. We always talked about sports. But we always had fun talking about sports. And if there was something heavy or complicated or something that required serious, logical attention, we would deal with those issues.
Well, you both are good at that, so yeah.
Well, because we're old dudes and we understand, it's not just about yelling and screaming on the radio anymore.
Not just old dudes can deal with complicated, heavy stuff, Tony.
Well, not anybody can, but I'm a mature, older man. I'm an active senior. I'm a senior, but I'm active. Like the guys on the senior PGA Tour. Anyway, so the U.S. soccer game against France, 3 o'clock Eastern time. Of course, the French, obviously the Americans are favored. But the French are getting close. You know how you love that one breakthrough win?
Yeah.
And the French women's soccer team, they've been in the World Cup semifinals, 2011. They lost to the United States and Germany in that World Cup. And then in 2012, they were in the French women in the Olympic semifinals against Japan at Wembley Stadium. And so today, 3 o'clock in France, facing the home team. Will there be any home cooking for the French? And if there is, I hope they start with the escargot. And I hope maybe, you got to have the nice little crostinis.
Yes.
What else?
Let's see. What else is totally French?
There's a lot of great French.
Yeah.
French onion soup. It's too hot for French onion soup.
A nice
though.
baguette with some.
Oh, you gotta have a baguette.
Some brie.
Some fromage.
Yeah, some fromage.
We may have to put out the table. We have to put out a spread here in the studio.
Yeah, some charcuterie. Although you don't like that.
I don't like the charcuterie. Bring me your cheeses, not your meats, because it's too early in the day to do the meats and cheeses.
And of course, some French wine. You can't forget the French wine.
I want to like fondue. Give me a little fondue.
That is not French.
I know it is, but I want to make it French today.
It's Swiss.
Just put some Gruyere in there. Everything's French when you put Gruyere in there. Or maybe a nice grilled cheese sandwich, Gruyere, and some escargot. I have a can of snails. We may have to pop that open and have it. Now, if the French win, I may have to open some really special French champagne.
Champagne.
No, Danny Briere is not going to be here. We're not going to do all kinds of stupid French stuff. Maybe some French kissing later if things get a little, maybe if we were in the Washington Nationals dugout, we'd be doing that. We'll get to that in a second. But I got to get to the big baseball news, Robin. Forget the debates. The big story today is the starters election. The Democrats are trying to figure out who their candidate's going to be in 2020, which is 16 months away, by the way, if you're scoring at home. And if you are, congratulations. But baseball has been changing the way they put their all-star team together. Don't ask me to explain it, but I believe they're using the popular vote and not the electoral college to determine who starts the baseball all-star game. So they counted up the votes. The fans voted. People voted online. They called a friend. They phoned a friend. They had a reality show built around it. And then all of a sudden they announced the starters. And the Houston Astros have 3 guys on there. The Houston Astros, who are 2-9 in their last 11 games and leaking a little bit, but obviously they're a great team, and so they got 3 guys voted in. The game's going to be July 9th, Tuesday, Progressive Field in Cleveland, and the Cleveland Indians will have one candidate, Johan Santana, who was with the Phillies last year and didn't really do that well here. The people pretty much said, dude, what are you doing? So he brought him back to Cleveland. He's on the team. No Phillies are on there. And I don't think they have that rule anymore, which is every team has to have at least one representative. And so we have the starters, And then on Sunday, Robin, the tension will build on Sunday afternoon when baseball gets together again and says, you need to watch us now because we're building a TV show around the reserves. The guys who will be put in and voted on. Another vote's coming up. They will get together. They'll go to, I think they're going to go to The Hague in Switzerland to actually make this announcement. Actually, the Hague is right near the Netherlands, right?
It's in the Netherlands, not near.
Is it part of it? No, but isn't that at the top of the Netherlands?
No, it's sort of middle on the coast.
In the middle of the coast of Netherlands? I've never been to The Hague, but I've always heard of it. I heard they got a good steakhouse there. Anyway, enough about that. So Sunday we'll find out who the reserves are and the starting and the pitching staff. And I'm sure the Aaron Nola, if they're going to pick one Philly, it's probably going to be Aaron Nola. Even though, he's 6-2, he's pitching well. But meanwhile, that's the All-Stars. But yesterday, and as we go into a weekend, some big baseball, the Phillies, of course, and the Mets yesterday. And that was the game while we were going off the air. I was doing live play-by-play without the expressed written consent of Major League Baseball. But I wasn't showing the pictures. I was just doing live play-by-play. When the Phillies had a 1-0 lead in the ninth, as we were going off.
You gave everybody the theater of the mind.
No, I was doing basic play-by-play.
Yes.
No commentary, just, here's the 2-2. And so the Phillies had a 1-0 lead. Hector Neris comes in, blows the save.
Right.
Not only do the Mets tie it in the top of the ninth, they go ahead 3-1.
Right.
And you're thinking, oh, man,
it's done.
Yeah, and then even though the Phillies had come back previously, the Mets, they've been leading in these games. And the Phillies finally had a 1-0 lead. And so Neris, who's been pitching a lot, blows the save.
Right.
Phillies go into their last at-bat, bottom of the ninth,
and
down
we're off the
3-1.
air by now. And
right.
we're like, oh, well, it's over. Everybody's commenting. Yeah.
And I was doing oh, man, I can't believe they blew this game 3-1. And now guess what? They're going to bring in Edwin Diaz.
Well, and then Dean at the end of the show was like, the
Phillies are going to lose, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not a homer. Well, I am. But I'm watching this game, and I was like, wow. And then I knew Edwin Diaz, who's been great. He was great in Seattle last year as the closer there. Mm-hmm. He's been okay, but the Mets haven't really been using him much. So they put him in the ninth, and this guy throws gas and 100 miles an hour. He's really a damn good closer, except nothing's damn good in New York with the Mets this year. It's been an absolute dumpster fire. To quote all those people who love dumpster fires, it is now used all the time. And if there is a dumpster fire in baseball, it is certainly the New York Metropolitans. So anyway, we get off the air, and I watch the rest of the game, and I'm thinking, Edwin Diaz is going to come in and mow them down, and the Mets are going to find a way to come back and win a game and avoid the 4-game sweep. But no, Phillies come up in the ninth, and you're thinking, man, what's going, they get a guy on, they hit a home run. Actually, there's only one place to get the best reaction to how this game ended. You got to go to New York. You got to go to WFAN, or I go to the Funhouse on Twitter at Back After This. That's the actual name of the Twitter account. Back After, AFTA, Back After This. And I'm not here to take shots at, even though he took shots at me my entire career when I was at ESPN and he was on, and he's a legend. Mike Francesa is a legendary broadcaster, Hall of Famer. But yesterday, after I was doing the play-by-play here on this show, he's watching the Mets game, obviously, in his studio in New York while he's live on the air. Now, remember, he's doing a radio show,
yes,
just like I am. And obviously, Mets fans, I don't know if you're in the radio in your car and you're watching the game or you're listening to a guy not even do play-by-play. So here is the thrilling conclusion of yesterday's New York Mets-Phillies game at Citizens Bank Park. Let's go live. Well, actually, this is plausibly live because it was yesterday in the ninth inning, bottom of the ninth, Citizens Bank Park. Here's Mike Francesa on the Fan.
Let me say this at 3-1. This is a save that if Diaz doesn't get, he might as well stay in Philadelphia. I mean, he might as well not even come back to Citi Field. If this isn't 1, 2, 3, good morning, good afternoon, good night, then don't even come home. How did he get on first base?
Walk.
He walked the leadoff batter. You see, that's what I'm talking about. Diaz, don't even fool around here. You give up a home run, and this guy's killed the Mets. He has absolutely killed them. This game has to be the Mets. Case closed. I don't care about what you did last year. I don't care what you did in Seattle. I don't care about anything else. This game has got to be the Mets. It's tied. Oh, my God. It's tied. Ball's a home run. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Can't happen. Not in, you can't. Oh, my. There is no coming back from this for them if they lose this game. Segura hits a shot. Home run. Unbelievable! He's done. He's shot. Bullpen shot. Team shot. Manager's shot. The pitching strategist, who the hell knows what he does in the first place? Hey, you know what? Just listen. Let the Mets take the bus. Instead of coming north on the turnpike, send it south. Let the 69 Mets suit up tomorrow night. This is a disgrace. I can't even believe it. You can't lose this game. They stink so bad you can't even make it up.
Oh, Tony, are you losing it?
I'm not losing it. Mike lost it. That was pretty funny, though. Was that not epic? Let the 69 Mets go out there and play the Braves this weekend. They shouldn't even be allowed back on the bus and back to New York to Citi Field. The good job by Back After This editing that, because that was including the beginning of the inning when they walked the first batter, Diaz, and then gave up the home run to the great Maikel Franco to tie the game at 3. And then still people said, oh, no, we're going to probably go even more extra. We're going to go extra innings again on a hot day. Everybody wanted to get out. It was getaway day. That was incredible. That was funny stuff. And it's all over the internet. I'm not the first guy, and I'm not trying to rip anybody. It's not my style.
Well, when you are somebody like Mike Francesa or Tony Bruno, for that matter.
There's a Twitter feed dedicated to playing his clips.
You can give him props.
Absolutely.
And you can rip him. And you can rip Tony Bruno, too.
I rip myself all the time.
That's the way it works.
I have all kinds of people having accounts that rip me. That's fine, but it's all in good nature. This is good-natured fun. And people are saying, I thought Mike Francesa was a Yankees fan. Even if he is, he's not on the Yankee station. He's on the Mets station, I think. I don't even know who's on anywhere in New York anymore. But I'll tell you what, there's only one guy who brings the heat better than Mike Francesa. And for people who don't think that baseball is something you can get incensed about, excited about, talking about hardball, talking about the bigs, talking about barreling the ball, which is the new hot thing this year. Barreling the ball, Robin.
Barreling the ball.
Barrel. Get the barrel on. CBS,
Roll out the
88
barrel.
WCBS is the Met station. And the Fan is the Yankee station now. But the guy who does the Yankees, Michael Kay, is on the competing station, the ESPN station. I know that much. I can't keep track. I can't even keep track of my career. You think I can keep track of what's going on in every market?
And it changes. Seems like it's changing daily. Although
yes,
the person who we will be playing next has been here for quite some time and isn't going anywhere.
In fact, it's his former partner. And you know I love me some Mad Dog Chris Russo on Mad Dog Sirius XM Mad Dog Radio. Now, this wasn't yesterday in reaction to Mike because, you know, they haven't been together for a long time. Mike does his own thing. And Chris Russo does his own thing. Former partners, legendary broadcast team. But this, I was looking for and there's a lot of Chris Russo rants, too, all over YouTube. We're going to go back. This is one of my favorites. And Chris Russo had a great point. Not about the Mets sucking and about the 69 Mets should take the field instead of the current Mets at Citi Field against the Braves this weekend. It's about baseball. And nobody is as passionate about baseball as Christopher Russo. Let's go back a couple of years for this epic rant from the Mad Dog.
Should be steamed about this. This is ridiculous. Why? Because of FS1? TBS? I mean, geez. I mean, they're garbage shuttles anyway. My God, what, TBS wants to have their part of the game leak into prime time so they can't start at 3 o'clock in Houston in Game 3? Nonsense. Who cares what TBS thinks? Put the game on so we all can watch it. Every part of the country. You think Goodell would play his championship game at 3 a.m.? You think he would do that? Does Championship Sunday in the NFL. The first game begin at 7, and then the Rams play at 10. No, it doesn't. Because the NFL controls the message. They control their television. They tell the networks what time a game is on. I understand that nobody else can play that game with the networks. The NFL can because of TV ratings. It makes it harder for the NBA and the NHL and baseball. But this is ridiculous. 2:25 a.m. And when it's convenient for baseball, they make the Dodger fan go to a day game in weekday in a postseason spot. Hey, we got to put the Cubs in prime time. Screw it. You play at 1 o'clock. They don't care. But when it's the other way, they're going to give you, when they do something stupid like this, they're going to tell you, well, we want the Dodger fan to watch it at 6:09 on the West Coast. You can't have it both ways. Cannot. Think about it. If you're a Milwaukee Brewer fan living in Wisconsin, you want to bet on it. It's 125 there. School night. Jeez. 125. And I'll tell you something else I screamed about here today. We'll do it again. How are the games on Saturday? Explain. How are the two games, if we get them, Game 6 Houston, Game 7, and Game 7 Milwaukee, which we could get? Why are those games on at 5 and 9? You know that? Did you know the times of those games? Red Sox play at 5, and the Brewers play Game 7 at 9:09 on Saturday night. All right, it's a Saturday night. I can deal with it a little later. 9:09.
It's a beautiful thing.
Now that's some quality radio, TV / satellite radio ranting right there. That's passion. That's energy. That's what I love about Mad Dog Russo. Mike Francesa, not so much. Not because I don't respect his career, but the guy's a douchebag. And again, I hate to do that because I don't really criticize anybody that does this. Everybody who's successful that does this,
Yes.
I don't take anything away from their route to success and the fact that they're legendary. But when a guy's a bad guy, the guy's a bad guy. Not because he was a bad guy to me.
No. He's like a
He was a
jerk to
bad guy
everybody.
to people that he shouldn't even be thinking about being in the same league as, like Mike Tirico. That's when I really lost respect
I know,
for
you
Mike
always
Francesa.
bring up that one incident that just kind of
Because
clouded
that's
your
where I
opinion.
saw
Yeah.
what this guy was about. Francesa, not Chris Russo. Chris Russo is a great guy, great friend. Anytime I see him, we come up. Francesa, meanwhile, it's ridiculous. So we're at one of the Super Bowls, and Mike's there every year. I'm there every year. And I'm walking around with Mike Tirico one year, and we weren't on the air. We were just walking around saying hi to people. And Francesa's sitting there at his desk, his throne, and Mike Tirico walks by to say hi, and Francesa looks at him like he's nobody. And I didn't want him to get up and hug him. Although I get up and hug Mike when I see him. I get up and hug all my friends every year.
Yes.
But when
you're a hugger.
When you big time Mike Tirico, and you're a guy who's obviously famous in New York and a legend, that to me, that just shows you what he thinks of others. Because nobody should big time Mike Tirico.
No.
He's one of the nicest guys on earth. He's a great professional at what he does. The guy does every sport, and now you're going to big time? It's ridiculous. Anyway, enough about that. But wait, there's more baseball, Robin, because there's a big weekend coming up. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens at Citi Field. The Braves and the Mets. And the Mets, we were just talking about, and you hear the anger in New York. They have now blown 5 straight games when they lead by 2 runs or more. And the bottom line is, they stink. And there are a lot of people saying this, Mickey Callaway, the manager's beleaguered all year. Boy, if it goes really bad this weekend, how much better can it get? They're playing the Braves, who are obviously an up-and-coming, showing everybody how good they are. They're in first place. They're 4.5 games up on the Phillies, 7 up on Washington. And you got the Braves come in the Citi Field, and the fans are obviously restless, and they'll be booing everything. You think they won't be booing Mickey Callaway up there? These fans were expecting a little bit better, because it's not that the Mets roster is terrible. I mean, Conforto, Alonso, the McNeil guy. They got some good players. Edwin Diaz was an absolute lockdown closer last year in the American League. So I don't know what's going on. But as someone once said, I believe I said this many times on national radio. Meet the Mets, greet the Mets, suit on up and just beat the Mets. They should change their theme song. And another thing that's happening. I'm not going to go on a Chris Russo rant because I'm not this outraged about it. Chris is a New York guy. He and Mike are New York guys. They get outraged about New York stuff. I'm not outraged. I just scratch my head at this one. Well, we got the big weekend series coming up in baseball. It's a Friday. Got some great matchups. The Braves and Mets, but the Yankees and Red Sox, who play each other 100 times a year, some genius at Major League Baseball decided, hey, the NFL goes to London every year. All these other sports leagues are trying to tap into the European market. What say we go to a soccer stadium in London?
Yeah.
And then rip up the field.
Yeah.
And then put in a baseball field. And then bring in and put up the outfield walls where center field is 350 feet away.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, 385 to dead center.
Oh, yeah, the locals are going to love that.
Well, they're going to love it because they're going to see 100 home runs. Maybe, maybe the Brits love the long ball, too. I know they like warm beer and they're not really good on dental care. But the Brits are going to go watch Yankees and Red Sox. And listen, they're two legendary franchises. And I'm sure I don't know how the ticket sales are going, but I know that the people who are putting this game together, like the volunteers and the people who are working, they have no idea about baseball. They're trying to train people what the game is about, and these are the people putting the game on.
Now, I know that we have several people in England that listen to the show. If you guys are listening right now, I would be curious to find out how it's being marketed to the Brits. Like, what commercials are being played, and are you being inundated over there so that it's generating all this buzz, or are they just hoping people are going to...
Baseball's just trying to do what the NBA is worldwide. Football,
right?
They go to London and they get good crowds.
But I would think
if they weren't getting anybody to go to these NFL games in London, they would stop doing them.
No, I know, but they had a huge marketing engine that went behind that.
Of course, we broke the whole thing down on what they were doing with the field, how they were, and it's only going to be for 2 games. They're going through all of this work to make this field baseball ready for 2 games, and then they're going to rip it up again and get ready back for soccer.
Well, here, the Swedish Chef 2019 is saying they're telling fans that they don't have to throw balls back that go into the stands. There's one. And then T1J2M said, heard the stadium they're playing in is smaller than one of the players' high school fields.
Yeah, that's what I said. They don't have it's not the stadium is not one of those multi-purpose ones where you push back the seats. It was constructed for soccer only.
Right.
And you can play NFL football in a soccer-only field.
Correct.
But you can't play baseball because there's no way to move the lower seats.
Right.
Like in NBA arenas or hockey arenas, when they play basketball, they move the boards are still there, but they put seats in front of it around the court and they make it smaller.
You can't make it wider.
And in some football stadiums, multi-purpose ones, you can push back sections, for concerts and stuff. And those seats get pulled out for football to be closer to the actual field. But this one, I don't get it.
It would have been.
I don't get it.
It would have been better if they'd done it on a.
Now, will I watch? I'm curious. Of course, I'm going to watch and see what it looks like. But I don't get. Just like Chris Russo went off on why baseball's trying to tell people what to do. Baseball's trying to tell people when to start baseball games at late at night when they're trying to get young people back into the game or into the game, not back into the game.
AJ in San Antonio says, if baseball sends Joe West to call these games, we might lose Britain as an ally, Tony.
You're right about that. Yeah, no Joe West, no Angel Hernandez. Do not allow those 2 guys over there. You can send them over there and just go set them in a pub somewhere and tell them to watch the game and make the calls from the bar.
Oh,
When somebody hits a home run, somebody hits a 400-foot blast and it's deep into the seats.
A whole 400 feet.
It's unbelievable. I mean, who thought this was a great idea?
Well, and here's another question.
And I've been questioning this for a long time, so it's not like it's after the fact.
Right, no.
Because after the fact, Monday people will be bitching about this. I guarantee you.
Here's another question. With all the recent fans being hit with balls, now that it's so much closer, are they going to have netting all the way around?
No, those will be outfield. Those people don't get hurt. They got gloves out there.
But
Robin, don't you understand exit velocity?
Tony.
When the ball hits into the seats 400 feet away, even though the exit velocity off the bat is fast. Don't you understand physics and science?
Yes, I do.
This is
but
about science
Brits
on the show.
are not used to looking up in the air and trying to catch things out of midair because none of their sports
Are
normally
they all?
do that.
No. And are they all on the phone like we are here?
Yes.
I really haven't paid. No, they're too busy chanting and chanting
No.
profanity and
I'm
singing.
telling you, this is Brits are not used to having to pay attention to that kind of stuff.
They pay attention to sports because they're watching soccer.
Yes,
They're all into it. You ever see a soccer crowd? They're into the game.
Yes, but
they're not
not
sitting
used-
there behind home plate texting their friends and waving when they know the camera's
oh,
on them.
I bet you they are.
Jeez, Robin.
And especially the women. The women are going to be texting.
Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
It's about damn time. And the training camp hasn't even
Scrapple
opened
Joe,
yet.
you are late. You
Exactly.
are late to the game.
What the
But
hell
thank
is going on
but
out
thank you
there?
for joining us.
Anyway, that's my baseball rant for the day. But there was one funny thing that happened in baseball last night. Funny depending on how, not funny to me too, as Allen Iverson once said.
It's a little interesting.
It's funny to me too.
So you got, teams are playing better now. Obviously, you look at the Tampa Bay Rays just went through a mess. They almost got swept by Minnesota last night, and then they used 8 relievers in that game, the Rays. Should I call them the Rays or the X-Rays? Because they haven't really, the Montreal thing hasn't happened yet. But I will, from heretofore, I will refer to I used to call them the Devil Rays. I'm going to call them the Tampa Bay X-Rays. EXRAYS, not just X like when you go to the doctor and you got to get your groin checked out. So you got Tampa Bay, and they're doing something interesting this weekend. Not just playing baseball. So they avoid the sweep. They use 8 relievers, and today they called up the former 4th overall pick in the 2017 draft from Louisville, Brendan McKay. Brendan McKay's been called up. He is a two-way player. No, it's not about Pride Month or anything about that. No.
At the same time.
He will actually be used as a starting pitcher, which he did in college, but he was also a DH. So obviously they're in the American League.
Right.
They were trying to use him as a first baseman, but they want him to focus on pitching because he's a good pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
But in Tampa, because they're in the American League, they're going to let him start. So he's scheduled to start Saturday's game for your Tampa Bay X-Rays against the Texas Rangers, who have heated up now. So it's amazing because Houston's in a slump right now. They've lost, as I mentioned, 2-9 in their last 11 games. And now the red-hot Texas Rangers are going to take on the Tampa Bay Rays this weekend. And, of course, they call up this Brendan McKay dude. And people down in Louisville know exactly how good this kid is. So we got that going on this weekend. But last night, for those of you who may not have been paying close attention to the games like I do, you may have been watching the Democrats debate. I'm watching sports. Max Scherzer is heading this weekend into Detroit. The Nationals are red hot. Scherzer's been amazing. I mean, there's nobody pitching better than Max Scherzer in the month of June. In fact, he has a chance to get one more win and go 6-0 in the month of June when he's scheduled to start Sunday in Detroit against the Tigers, who, oh, by the way, this just in, are not good. In fact, more people will be watching the Rocket Mortgage Open in Detroit in the PGA Tour than probably will watching the Detroit Tigers this weekend. So anyway, so you got that, Max Scherzer and the Braves heading into Detroit. But last night, the Nationals won again behind Max Scherzer.
Say that.
The
3 times.
Nationals have won 8 of their last 10 games, Robin. They swept the Marlins down in Miami. The Marlins are dead cold. They've lost 11 of their last 13 at home. Remember, they swept the Phillies last weekend here in Philly, and now the Phillies are in Miami. In fact, I got word last night, and this is breaking news that you will not hear anywhere else. Phillies went into Miami after they swept the Mets yesterday, took the plane, went down to Miami, and they'll start the series tonight in Miami against a team that's playing really poorly at home, yet swept the Phillies last weekend up here. But when the word came out late yesterday afternoon about the baseball all-star starters election, and no Phillies were on, Gabe Kapler, according to my sources on South Beach, was ejected from a bar after he challenged the results of the MLB election. He wants to go to replay, and he wants to figure out why no Phillies made the starting rotation. Joe West ran into the bar, started singing country songs. Everybody got the hell out of there and said, enough of this crap.
pissed off.
Thank you, Harry. That line felt better when I thought about it earlier today. You like it, Gabe Kapler gets. Remember, he was ejected twice in a 4-game span over the weekend, Robin. I don't have comedy writers. I do this on my own. We've got Rocket Mortgage open action. They're checking the Chads in Florida right now, and the Jeremys, and the Scotties, and what are some of the other popular names right now, Robin, for all the young pitchers? Guys in their 20s now. There's a lot of similar names. Bradley. Cooper. Not Bradley Cooper, but both. You can use it. You can use Cooper as a first name, Bradley, Chad. I'm looking for people to give me some names. Did the curveball machine have his back? Yeah, they're checking the votes in Florida. I believe they're going to take this to the Supreme Court to find out why the Phillies don't have a starter on the National League All-Star team. This is the first year where I really had no idea. I remember back in the good old days, Robin. I know your old man yells at clouds. But I remember when you used to go to the ballpark and Gillette would sponsor the All-Star, and they'd give you the ballot where you would punch out the little holes.
Right.
And you'd sit around and you punch out your favorite players. And then you get all those little stupid little chads all over the place. But it was cool, though.
Because every now and then you'd have a hanging chad.
Yeah, but I had that happen, too. Luckily, I have medication for that. And it burns a lot. But, hey, you got to do what you got to do. As Charlie Manuel...
Got to take care of those chads.
As Charlie Manuel once said.
What it is what it is.
Exactly. Clayton, Bryson, Aiden is another big name right now, Robin.
Yes, Aiden.
Aiden's big, yes. Thank you, TJ.
My nephew.
Exactly. No, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of popular names. And you check out all these dudes, especially the white dudes, the Major League Baseball players.
Now, Tony, S Falcon 39 has a question. Why don't MLB have universal DH?
Because they're talking about it. The American League brought in the DH as a gimmick years ago.
What was it? So the gimmick. Explain it to me. What was
Robin,
wrong with
it's been around for 50 years.
No. So the gimmick
was
they feel
that the National League and American League had separate umpires. And there's still separate leagues, but now the umpires has become unified. So there's no longer American League umpires and National League umpires. The American League has instituted the DH, the designated hitter, so that big, fat, older guys who can keep jobs because they don't want the pitcher to hit.
Maybe we're talking about Joe West. Just as
no, Joe West is an umpire. I'm talking about players, not umpires.
Players, okay.
So you get a guy who's a player, he can't run out in the field anymore.
Okay.
Maybe he plays first base, but you got like six
first
basemen.
But he's still popular.
He's not that he's popular. He has a job. They wanted to protect more jobs, which is good. If I ran for president, I would guarantee that there would be cuts, that I would eliminate the designated hitter. But that's just me. I'm an old school guy. The National League doesn't want it, even though the pitchers don't hit. This kid who's going to start for the Tampa Bay Rays tomorrow is a good hitting pitcher. But since everybody that focuses on one position now, except when they're young, kids when they start out, they pitch, they play first base, they play outfield. It's like Bugs Bunny on the teams. First base, Bugs Bunny. Second base, Bugs Bunny.
Now, Delco Tommy says the DH is a joke, eliminated a shitload of strategy.
Don't use the bad words, Robin, just because people say it. Anyway, so they've been trying to force the National League with this whole, and if you look at the games now, the National League scores a gazillion runs, too. It used to be back in the day, the American League wanted to get a little heads up because they were the junior circuit. And the National League is the senior circuit. And so they wanted to make the games a little more fancy. And they wanted to basically take strategy away from managers who don't have to worry about the pitchers coming up next in the next inning, so I got to make a double switch. Basically, managers can sleep in the dugout during an American League game.
Gotcha.
Because they don't have to worry about,
they
have a DH in there. He hits in the pitcher's position because the pitcher doesn't hit in the American League. And so now there's like this pressure on. The National League should also have the DH. That would employ a lot of guys who sit on benches right now and never get into games anyway. Some people think it's exciting. To me,
sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Are DHs better than pitchers? Yeah, for the most part. But I like the strategy.
I do too.
Of having a pitcher go out there and have to lay a bunt down. Or a pitcher slaps a ball into the gap and makes it exciting. They're not all automatic outs. And by the way, there's plenty of runs being scored in both leagues this year. Just check the scoreboard every night. It's not like the National League, they got a lot of 2-1 games. Everybody's crushing the baseball. They're barreling the ball at record numbers this year, Robin. So why do we need a stinking DH? Why do we even need managers? Why not just have a rope? Why not just put a machine in the dugout? Like Gabe Kapler. It was like everybody using play by numbers, paint by numbers, manage by numbers.
Speaking of robots, we have a sports and robots
yes,
update
we do.
later.
Well, we have everything on the show, Robin. We have everything.
But yes, so you're saying that you think the DH should be gone completely?
Yeah, I mean, if the American League wants to keep it, keep it. But don't force the National League to go use the same rules.
Agreed.
I don't want I don't want universal health care. I'm Medicare for me, not for thee, guy. And I'm not even running for president. By the way, as someone who has Medicare now because I'm over the age of 65, is it good? Better than no health insurance.
Yes.
But guess what, people? Just a word to the wise, because I guess this isn't about politics. This is about trying to make people understand that Medicare for the people who are over 65, who worked their entire lives and paid into it, they should get it absolutely. About everybody else, let the politicians decide that. But I have Medicare, and I lost a lot of I had to keep finding doctors.
You're still doing
Well, now
good.
on Medicaid, before I got Medicare, no doctors were taking new patients. So I couldn't even find a doctor under Medicaid.
Yeah.
But now Medicare, I have choices of good doctors. But the problem is, if I want to go to my good doctor and I want to get checked out, I got to wait 2 months.
At least.
I wanted to get checked out for a high level of PSA, which men should check every year as part of their prostate health. And I've been doing it for 15 years. So I'm not one of these guys who never had a prostate exam, never had a PSA blood test.
This is a PSA to get your PSA checked.
Exactly right. This is my PSA public service and prostate service announcement.
Get your prostate checked, gentlemen.
Yes.
It is important.
So anyway, I go to my urologist, who's a great doctor who I hadn't seen in a couple of years, and I had to wait 2 months just to see him in his office. Then when I finally see him, he says, I need you to go get an MRI because I don't want to do another prostate biopsy where they ram a thing in you and start pulling pieces out of a prostate, which is the size of a walnut. So we went through it together in L.A., Robin. I mean, you didn't feel the pain, but you felt my pain. And it's not a pleasant thing, but if you have to do it, you do it. So I did it once, and now a lot of doctors are saying, if you've already done a prostate biopsy, you really shouldn't do one again. So now I just get the phone call yesterday from my doctor, who took me 2 months to see, and then another month after he said, go get your prostate MRI and check your groin while you're down there. So I did 2 MRIs at the same time. Not as pleasurable as...
2 chicks at the same time.
So I get it done, and 2 hours in the tube, and I get the results. And he said, well, the MRI shows that your PSA is high, and you're almost at concern levels of cancer. So this is on the voicemail.
Yeah.
He says, you're at 3. There's 1, 2, which is no problem. There's 3, which is in the middle.
It's questionable.
I'm not on the IL yet.
No,
but now he says, I recommend another prostate biopsy. And again, if I have to do it, I have to do it.
But you're not looking forward to it.
It's an outrage.
Yeah, it's too
And
bad
how long am I going to wait for that? That's the thing. I'm not worried about dying of prostate cancer because I get checked. It's not like I don't know what's going on because I've been paying attention every year to get a physical, get blood work done. That's what you do. That's how they find a lot of these things. And so when you get over 50, they said, check your PSA. And when you get blood work done as part of a regular physical, you just say, your doctor says, hey, if you're a man, make sure you get your PSA. It's just another half a vial of blood. They're going to go through all these tests anyway. I get the whole thing. I get the undercarriage wash. I get this fresh car smell put in. I get a little tree they hang on.
Yeah.
They hang down there. I get everything done. I want the works. I'm not going for the basic car wash. When I go into the doctor, I get the vacuuming. I get the sump pump. I change the oil.
Wax on, wax
on.
The waxing part is your favorite.
Wax on, and then whack off, I think is what they say now.
Ah.
They've upgraded from the old... Anyway, let's get back to the business. So that's my tip of the day for the Medicare for all crowds. If you think it's slow now, if everybody had Medicare, and I'm not saying everybody shouldn't get Medicare. I don't care about that stuff. That's not up to me to decide. I'm just giving you my knowledge of how Medicare works right now, which is government health care. And you're going to be waiting a long, long time just for basic stuff. I'm not talking about, like, getting a new kidney or all those other things. So that's
Anyway, we were talking about the DH.
So how do we get from the DH to prostates? Well, most of these guys are old, and they probably should get their And by the way, while they're waiting for their next at bat, and the manager's sitting there next to him saying, "Hey, I don't have to do anything. It's just plug and play baseball. I just put out the lineup card, pick the fat guy who's going to be the DH today, who can't play first base anymore, and then boom, go out and play ball. Let's play ball now." So anyway, see, it's not about changing topics on this show. It's about relating things, and then we get back to eventually.
Yes. It's
Which
like
we have.
It's like you go in a circle. You're constantly going in circles.
It's like being on an airplane and you think you're going to land, and then the pilot comes on and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have heavy traffic on the ramps. We've been asked to circle for another 2.5 hours before we can get." And then you land and you get to. And then,
so that's the heavy traffic that's going on in Tony's brain.
Right, and then so all of a sudden you get final clearance, Clarence, and you get the final, and you hear the ding, ding, ding.
Yes. That means seatbelts?
Not that we started our final, because they ding, ding, ding you when they say we have started our final approach,
yes,
right? We have started our approach into so-and-so airport. And then all of a sudden, you're waiting there, and you're like, dude, we're like 25 minutes away from landing, and you're telling me now I got to make sure my tray table's up? I always have my seatbelt on. What's the vector, Victor? And then you finally get clearance to land, and then you land, and then they tell you, oh, you're sitting in line because there's not an open gate. That's what getting a prostate exam feels like sometimes if you have to wait for months to get it. And don't call me Shirley. Yes, I like movies about gladiators, and I always remain seated.
Tony, we have a comment from Dean.
Oh, on the phone lines?
On the phone
Let's
lines.
think about the phone number, 215-462-TONY. It's a free-for-all Friday, 215-462-8669. If you're listening, you're watching on twitch.tv. Remember, in about 40 minutes from now, Robin, we will go live to San Francisco.
I need to pay attention to that, too.
See, I'm all over this stuff. I got the clocks. I got everything here. I feel like I'm at mission control.
We do need one of those big studio clocks, though. I have that on the wish list, by the way. That's the Amazon
one of those. It's got to be digital because nobody can know. See, I prefer digital clocks.
Yeah.
But I can read a regular clock.
But anyway, on the wish list, I have a digital clock, a nice studio clock that
Does it say, I want one of those on-the-air things, too? And then when you turn the mics off, the on-the-air light goes off, so we know not to curse. But it doesn't matter on the show because we can curse.
But Dean is on the phone right now.
Do we need to answer his call?
Yeah. Dean, you're live.
Tony. How you doing, Robin?
Beautiful, man. Have you had your PSA checked lately, Dean?
Yeah, I had it done when I was 50, and they said everything looked great. See you in 10 years.
10 years? You don't get your prostate checked every 10 years. You get your colon. You get your colonoscopy after 50 every 5 years or 10 years, but not PSA.
Excuse me, not prostate, colonoscopy. But yeah, I have that checked too. But listen, Tony, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Wait, Dean. Before you start to keep talking, do you have your computer on at the same time? Because we're hearing an echo.
No.
Okay. Just checking.
Maybe I'm just in a bad spot.
Where are you? Are you in the house or are you outside?
I'm in the house.
You must be in a bad spot, man. You're echoing.
Let me move outside then.
Is it hot and humid still down there? What's the weather in the Tampa Bay Clearwater area right now?
Well, as soon as I walk outside, I'm going to be dripping in sweat.
It's about damn time you got outside, got off your ass off the couch, and got outside and enjoyed the fresh air.
All right, now listen. Let me ask you a question.
There it is. That's a little bit better right there. Go ahead.
Let me ask you a question. Did you have sex within 30 hours of this test?
No, I did that once before, and that's when I went. That's years ago I did it. And then I went and got the PSA test, and then it was really elevated.
Yeah.
And then the doctor says, well, did you have the same question? Did you have sex within 48 hours before? And I said, yeah, I had it like 10 minutes before. And he said, well, that changes the results. We're going to do another one.
Exactly.
We're going to do another one, but this time try, if you can, to refrain from sexual contact. Do not have sexual relations with that woman at least 3 days before. And I tried, and I tried, and I tried. And I did it, and then the level went down. But now I understand the rules. When you do it every year, Dean, you know the rules. You know what I'm saying?
No, I was just curious because I know that's what happens. It gets elevated if you do have sex, and I thought maybe, that's what happened in this case.
Everything gets elevated when you have sex.
Absolutely.
Even love in an elevator. That's even a double elevation sensation. You know what I'm saying?
All right, well, listen, Robin, next time Tony has to have a PSA test and you have to refrain from sex for him in 3 days, just call me. I'm available.
Get out of here. I'll kill you, man.
Oh. Why, thank you. Thank you so much for your concern.
Yeah, I'm sure your wife is sitting there nodding, saying, yeah. No, his wife's in work, and he's sitting at home watching CNBC to find out what the stock market's doing. It's ridiculous, man.
So nice of him. Hey, I want to. I actually. Whoops.
Oh, the phones are ringing.
Phones are
I think the
ringing.
Wonder Pets are active today too. Whenever the phone rings, you know what happens. The Wonder Pets get active, Robin. What up, Aerosmith?
What up?
All right, so we're having fun here today. There's one more baseball thing I want to get to though. Keep the call on hold because I want to play this and finish out. I want to wrap up this extensive, almost 1 hour baseball segment. You want to talk about breaking down. We gave you a little soccer talk there, too. Yeah. And we'll keep you up to date on the soccer game once it gets underway at 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll have a bunch of updates, too, including forget about horse racing update. We've got the new rage that should be taking over this nation story. Plus, we'll have there's only one thing shorter than a man with a fancy car. That's a man with a fancy car. Well, I'll give you the later on. It's a tip, and it's not just for a second.
Now, did we want to do this next video before we go to the
yes,
phones?
because this is the baseball segment.
Okay.
So I mentioned the Nationals are playing well, right? I mentioned the whole Max Scherzer thing, 5-0 in June. He pitches on Sunday against the Tigers, hoping to go 6-0. They sweep the Marlins. But last night, they won again last night, the Washington Nationals. They're pretty hot. So I looked at the box score, and I wanted to see, who had a big night. And you figure guys, get carried. And one of their teammates hit home runs, and they're hitting 4 home runs a night, it seems, the Nationals now, like everybody else. So there was a scene in the Nationals dugout last night which sort of piqued my interest. Not because I care what men do with other men. I mean, it's Pride Month, after all. So I wanted to see what Brian Dozier, the second baseman of the Nationals, did. Because, you see guys jump up and down, they pour. This was during the game, so this wasn't an after-the-game celebration or after a home run celebration.
Right.
I wanted to see if Brian Dozier had hit a home run. He went 2 for 4, 2 hits, no RBIs, no runs scored. So he didn't have a particularly big night at the plate. His teammates were playing well, so he comes into the dugout, and then this is what happened. Hopefully you can see this on Twitch TV. If not, I'll explain it. Now, are there announcers talking during this thing?
No, I think it's just music.
All right, this is Brian Dozier in the dugout now. There's a guy standing up, and then he decides to
And I
bend
think it's
down
like
behind.
It might be a trainer.
Yeah, it's
or
not another
something.
player.
Yeah, no, it's not another player. It might be a trainer.
It could be the athletic trainer. It's not an umpire. It wasn't Joe West.
No.
Although if you look closely at the man with the street clothes behind him, he seems to be a little excited if you pay attention down to the nether regions. And then this will make this even more creepy and more inexplicable as to what exactly is going on here.
He definitely has something in his pocket.
He either has a cup on or he's got his boner on. Let's go to the tape.
80 for the Washington season. Trying to get back to 40 and 40 after this.
He's getting his butt smacked. He's like doing
season. Trying to get back to 40 and 40 after this. 80 for the Washington season.
And so the Washington Nationals, Brian Dozier, and again, men can do whatever. I just don't know what's going on here. I know what it looks, and then the ass slaps, and then the guy behind him was like slapping that ass. Now I've seen that in the clubs. No, the player was not bent over. He wasn't playing. He
Turning
wasn't
the
active
volume
last
down.
night.
But I'm letting it play over and over so
Yes.
everybody can really, really enjoy this. Now, the other player that's sitting next, I can't quite tell who it is. It's just the side of his face just for a second. But he's obviously laughing hysterically. So this is an inside joke of some kind.
Well, yeah. I mean, no clothing was removed. They weren't playing any They would have been better. You know what would have been better, Robin, if it was playing in the background? This song. And it goes a little something like this. Why don't I hear it now, Robin?
I don't know. Have you turned up, mister?
I'm all the way up, so to speak. I'm sort of like Brian Dozier and the guy standing behind him. Says it's playing. Say,
My
you
fault.
didn't have me turned on, Robin.
I did, but I had you muted.
I hate to do it to you.
Volume was up, but the mute was on. Bum, bum, ba, bum.
That's not the song I wanted.
Oh, so can we do a double bump, bumpty bump? One for both you and me?
Well, because I looked for a song, but it was the wrong version. This is the version I want. This is what they were doing in the Washington Nationals dugout. Give me a little of that R. Kelly right now.
M. Lewis 5150. See, nah, I think these are guys having fun.
Of course they are. I'm not trying to make anything out. I'm not doing gay jokes and no homo jokes. It was funny. I just didn't know what the bit was. If I can get a Nationals fan to call in at 215-462-TONY, maybe I get FP Santangelo, who does the Nationals games, while his son is producing out in San Francisco at KNBR.
Who I'm in correspondence with. Can we go to the phones really quick?
No, I want to get this in here. This is what they were doing. Maybe they had this playing in the background. You know?
Well, the reason, Tony, there's actually a reason that I want to go to Trevor right now and talk on the phone, because I want to make sure that this echoing thing is not going to reoccur.
You're blowing the whole mojo here, Robin.
I'm sorry to blow the mojo.
I was trying to play a little bump and grind, and there's nothing. I see nothing wrong with bump and grind.
No, there is not anything wrong with bump and grind, no matter who is doing it, even if it's just a joke. But we have an important phone call in half an hour, and I want to make sure that there's no echoes going on, because I'm going to have to fix it before that happens.
All right, let's go to the phone. Is this breaking news, or are you just checking the phone lines?
I'm just checking the phone lines, but Trevor's on the phone, so we might as well bring him in and check.
But again, you stopped down my bump and grind segment, and then basically brought it to an absolute halt.
Crashed it.
You're telling me when to stop something and finish a bit, and then you're going to rip me for not finishing something and going back to something else?
Yes, because
I'm trying to play a little damn bump and grind. Do you see
Trevor?
anything wrong with bump and grind?
Trevor? Do you hear what I have to go through? Golly.
I love that bump and grind. Can we get that at LA Fitness later tonight?
That's right. We're coming back. Tonight there'll be a lot of bumping and grinding. And a lot of it will be men and men, but that's fine. And it'll be men and women, women and men, couples only, whatever you want. We'll do that on the late night show.
Tonight too? Some lady on lady?
What's that?
Trev, repeat that again.
We're going to get two chicks at the same time tonight as well?
Well, it always happens on a Friday night, man. What's the matter with you? Haven't you been following this show?
I have been following this show. And also, there may be a big spin class tonight, I've been told. So
there may be
I'm
a what?
ready for some two chicks at the same time action as well.
So you're going to be working tonight at the LA Fitness up there in New Canaan, Connecticut?
Norwalk, Connecticut. Yeah, I got
Norwalk,
I'm
I'm
doing
sorry.
a 4 to 8 shift. Then I'm doing the spin class after.
What time's the spin class tonight?
8 o'clock.
But we were on at 10, and the spin class was going on last week pretty late. You were
Yeah,
trying to
that was
get
on
those
Wednesday,
people out. No, that was Friday night.
No, I called you on a Wednesday last week.
You didn't call in last Friday night when we were doing the Into the Night show for the first time?
No, I was at the bar with some homies. I didn't want to be that guy calling in at the bar,
Oh, okay. Were you doing any bumping and grinding in there?
I had one chick tell me, "What the fuck are you wearing?" Why are you
No,
wearing
come
a
on now.
hoodie?"
You don't have to say. We know that when you have that kind of language in bars, it usually leads to brawls. Miss Robin and I saw a brawl last night, and we were at Chick-fil-A, for God's sake.
Yeah, actually, I have video to show everybody. It was crazy.
Robin could have posted this and made money and put it on.
I think I still might.
You know where you can send this, and it'll get a lot of million views.
TMZ?
World Star.
World Star, exactly
World
right.
Star.
You put it on World Star, maybe some TMZ. You put it on those sites because people love these fights. They love these fights.
And then Barstool Smitty, too.
Barstool Smitty here in Philly, he would love this video. I don't like that stuff because I was trying to break up the fight. And then Robin and a bunch of other people start taking out cameras. And I hate when people, and I don't want to get involved, but I want to help to try to calm the situation down because that's why
Right, Tony, you were trying to break it up. So really quick, two women at Chick-fil-A.
We're sitting down literally 10 feet away from this. And there's a woman in line waiting to order. And there was a woman behind her with another child and another woman, and they got in front of the other woman. And the woman said something like, "Hey, why are you cutting in front of me?" And nothing really bad happened. They were just like looks. And then I got this gut feeling. I said, I hope this doesn't escalate.
Well, no. So the woman who got in front and cut in line was only getting her because the drink was mixed up. So she was just doing a drink exchange.
But she didn't cut in front of anybody.
No, because the woman that was right there at the counter said, "Go ahead. I know that you're just doing that." Well, the woman that was behind her was the woman who was upset that this chick was getting in front, and like they all tried to explain, look, I'm just exchanging my drink. I'm not actually ordering.
Right.
And she did not want to have any of
So
that.
nothing really happened, and then except they looked at each other and said something, and then I said, I couldn't hear what they were saying.
Well, then the words started to escalate, and then the woman
with the child and the other woman got their food, and then as they were walking out, they said something back to that other woman who was still waiting, and then they started attacking that one woman, and it was ugly, hair pulling.
And then the woman
Sounds like my last time I was at Xfinity Live for the Eagles-Bears game.
Yeah, it usually happens there too. Yes.
So the woman that was still in line goes over and just starts wailing on the woman that was ready to leave, grabs her hair, and then that woman's boyfriend,
who was sitting in the seated area without the woman who was waiting for the drink to be changed to the right one.
He comes over and he tries to separate them, not violently. He's just like, and the one chick had the other chick's hair.
And he was yelling, let it go of her hair, let go of her hair.
And then he's like,
I went over there, not to, I was just saying, hey, guys, stop. I was just trying to stop it. And then the guy who was trying to help his girlfriend get out of the hair pulling thing.
He keeps saying, I don't want to hit a woman.
And then one of the women was trying to hit him too. And he says, I don't want to hit woman. I don't want to hit, but stop doing this, the guy was saying. And then they're pulling each other's hair, and then it finally ends, and then the women who are pulling the hair finally go away. They go outside, and all of a sudden, another guy comes in, takes his shirt off, and goes after the boyfriend. And literally, this wasn't funny, man. This was scary.
Yeah, it was
and
really
he's
scary.
beating this guy into the corner, and we thought he was dead.
Yeah, it knocked.
Literally, he was knocked out cold.
Knocked him out cold, and there's like blood coming from the side of his head, and it kind of looked like it was coming out of his ear.
Yeah, this wasn't just a cat fight.
No.
This got really, really ugly.
And when the guy came in,
This sounds like a Donnybrook between Todd Fedoruk and Ty Domi.
No, this wasn't a hockey fight. This was scary, man.
This was really
when you
scary.
see fake stuff on TV and you see violence, there's something to see. That's the difference with me and a lot of people. When I see real violence, it bothers me. When I see stuff on TV like movies and that people are fighting, shooting each other, I know that's not real. But when you see real violence up close and you're not expecting it, it's not pleasant to look at. I don't sit there and laugh, because a lot of times you see people videoing and laughing.
Yeah, no.
I wanted to stop this thing, but I didn't want to get involved and have somebody beat me up. And by the way, the guy who ran in was carrying.
No, not that guy, but the other guy. There was another guy that came in. Like Tony and I were kind of stuck where we were. And so when the guy came in, both of us were like, okay, where can we hide if this guy has a gun? Then he takes his shirt off. He starts beating up on the dude. And then another guy comes up, and he clearly was carrying a gun. You could see it.
Yeah, but you don't know when everybody's carrying. So you're down there close to the situation. Some guy comes running in and takes his shirt off and starts beating a guy up. You're not going to get involved there.
No.
Because if that guy has a gun and he pulls it out, you're going to die for trying to break up a stupid fight in a Chick-fil-A.
The second guy that came in who was carrying had a baby in his arms. And I think, thank God he did, because he had the wherewithal not to do anything with a baby in his arms. And then once the guy was out cold, the second dude said, because by then the manager was shouting, the cops are on their way. They're going to be here any second. He's like, we got to get out of here now. And then
we have it on tape. Robin was taping it. I was trying to break up the fight. I wasn't there laughing and saying, yeah, go ahead, do it. When I see these videos and people are laughing and making a joke out of it, that means that they're totally desensitized to violence.
And I have a beef I will call out these two guys. I know they're not cops, but
there were two PPA,
they were PPA
guys.
Big guys. These were not like little tiny people.
Mm-hmm.
They were big guys.
And they didn't want to get involved.
They did not even lift a finger. They were laughing.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it's a shame to see that, man. I mean, people are so tightly wound nowadays. You're in line at a stinking Chick-fil-A of all places, where everybody's friendly, where the service is great, and then somebody cuts in front of somebody, and it leads to a full-out brawl.
It was not funny at all.
It's not
was
funny.
scary.
It's really it bothers me. It gets to my gut.
Should I play the video?
No, don't play it now.
Okay.
We'll play it tonight.
Okay.
We'll play it tonight.
It'll be a good into the
Save
night.
it for the Into the Night show.
We're gonna
Exactly.
save it for into the night.
It's just sad to see this stuff, man. And it's
No.
not about race, and it's not about any of this other stuff. It's
Well-
just about people who are triggered. Just people who just can't deal with any kind of interference, or they can't react as human beings to
Well,
one another.
And then the other problem that I saw was that there were several police officers that came. There was one police officer in particular that did nothing to diffuse the situation. He was actually making it worse.
Yeah, he's yelling at the woman who was the victim.
Yeah.
And because she
No.
was so upset. When I say victim, she was the one who was definitely, there were three people
She was
beating
not the
her
one.
up.
Yeah, she did not start it. She didn't.
Well, no, she precipitated it by
Yeah.
saying something.
Oh, yeah.
If she doesn't say anything, nothing
Yeah,
happens.
she was.
Especially after the women leave, after they get their food, they leave, and then they both said something to each other, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that's what escalated it. You just move on. It's really, really, really troubling to see that. And it just doesn't happen in this one place,
No.
the Chick-fil-A here in South Philly. It's happening every day. People have short fuses. They react violently to everything. It's not about somebody cuts in front of you. You shouldn't be fighting over it.
Yeah.
I say go right ahead.
And
Go right ahead.
And now, to me, like the quote unquote victim, she was by no means a
Innocent bystander.
Innocent
no,
bystander.
but when I say victim,
but
she's the one that took the brunt
she
of
did
the
not.
beatdown.
She did not start.
She
didn't-
had three people
yeah,
beating on her.
She did not lay a hand
And I'm
on
doing
anybody
this as an objective person
Yes.
who's watching this happen right before my eyes.
But she would verbally, she was not innocent at all. But
no,
physically-
because she was so upset when the
Yeah.
police arrived. The police were screaming at her.
Oh, it was
and
crazy.
she was out of control.
Yeah.
She saw her boyfriend almost get killed.
Yeah.
And so that you can't put yourself in her position because the adrenaline.
Yeah, she was all pumped
So she
up.
felt that the cops took forever to get there, which they did, and that's what's happening now around America.
Yeah.
Police can't respond everywhere. You know, it was 10 minutes. And that's an area where there's, you would think a cop would arrive in no time.
I know. It
And
wasn't
an
like
ambulance comes in.
It
And so
wasn't like there was a lot of traffic around there. So
anyway, it's just ugly to see that stuff. I don't like to see it. I rarely see that kind of violence.
I hate to see it too.
No, seriously, when you see it, when you see a real fight, it bothers me.
Brendy 85, all over a woman exchanging her drink. That's what it started from. Obviously, there's a lot of hotheads that they don't need a lot of excuse to become nasty. And
Yeah,
then,
they were both wrong. Both
Yeah,
women
both
were
women
wrong.
were wrong.
But I'm saying the one woman bear the brunt of it.
Right.
And she was mad and then her boyfriend, after he's finally resuscitated and they're covering up the blood, he's still angry, and he goes to the counter and says, "Can I get some water or something?"
Yeah.
And the manager there, and the managers are normally great, the manager turned on the guy.
I actually found out that the management has changed. Our people that we knew there for a long time, he left. He left because of that manager, actually.
Wow. Anyway, I'm not going. It's not about
So,
blaming
I-
anybody. They have it on video.
Yeah.
The bottom line is this: nobody's going to be arrested. Nobody's going to be held accountable.
Well, they did. There was
They
a
got
woman out in the
yeah,
parking lot.
she's got a license plate number. You think the police? You know the one thing, and I learned this when my scooter was stolen. The police hate writing
What's
up
that?
reports. If they're not there to break something up, and this was way after everything ended, they don't like to write. Nobody likes to write paperwork.
Well,
Then
they
they have to sit down and take numbers and names and stuff. That's the part of policing that police officers hate because you're not really policing. You're
That's
trying to
also
get
the worst thing about dealing at a gym too, doing paperwork.
Exactly. No, especially police. You want to sit down after you get to a place and everything, all hell's broken loose, and now all you're trying to do is put it together and figure out, who did it, who's the person, they have video cameras everywhere, so there's video of this, and not just the people shooting it in the restaurant, but they have overhead cameras everywhere now. So whether they get an arrest on this, I don't know who you blame, what you do. Bottom line is, this is it was ugly. I wanted to go out and get a Chick-fil-A sandwich and a damn
wanted
glass
to
of
have
lemonade.
And we had frozen foods in the back of the car.
That's
We're
right. I
like-
had to go get some
and then-
calamari for the
and-
table.
And then because there was several people that were videotaping, but they all hightailed it out of there.
Oh
as soon
yeah.
as the police
Oh
arrived.
yeah. It was scary, man.
So I was actually trying to help the guy that was wounded because he was trying to get up, and
I literally thought he was. I walked over
Yeah.
to the corner after the other guys ran out, And he wasn't moving a muscle.
Nah. And
I'm thinking, this guy may be dead.
I threw my phone at Tony and I start helping the woman. She's so upset. She's like trying to pull on him, going, baby, don't, say something. I'm like, ma'am, don't touch him because who knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Stay down there. And so then I was like trying to check his breathing and see what was going on. And by then, police arrived. And they found out that I had a video, so then I had to give the video.
Exactly.
Mean, it was,
so anyway, that's it's something that nobody likes to see. Unfortunately, some people like to see it, and when it happens, they're cheering and they're videotaping it and giddily laughing.
Yeah, they're laughing.
It's like this isn't funny.
No.
How is it funny to watch people beat each other up in a public place?
It was awful. And thank God the man regained consciousness, and the paramedics were there, and hopefully he doesn't have.
So I didn't want to bring the show down to this. I was trying to play some bump and grind, and then we got into a Chick-fil-A brawl in South Philadelphia story.
But on the flip side, our frozen
on the
foods
flip side,
that
the
were
Phillies, though.
On the flip side, the frozen foods that were in the back of the car, they were in one of those Costco freezer bags.
Yep, everything stayed.
Yeah.
Everything
absolutely
stayed good,
and it was
so-
95 degrees out.
So
we went to the supermarket first, got frozen foods, and then we go into Chick-fil-A, and then we're basically, by the time we left the supermarket and got home, it was over an hour later, and we had frozen stuffed chicken. And the chicken was fresh, though, at least, not frozen. Not previously frozen either. I hate when they put that on fish. Previously frozen. I don't want previously frozen. If it's previously frozen and then it's defrosted and then you're selling it as previously frozen, that means it's going to be mushy when you cook it, right? Unless you cook it right away. It's an outrage. And the sandwich was good, by the way. Yes, we always get the same thing, the Chick-fil-A Deluxe, no American cheese, but we get the Colby Jack, right, Robin?
Correct. Now,
and Robin gets 16 Chick-fil-A sauces.
Because they're delicious.
Not one, not two, not three, not four, not five. 16.
And my Bantam bagels survived. Everything that was in the car survived because we didn't do anything in the car. By the way, speaking of people who have peculiar eating habits, I believe I found Miss Robin's prior boyfriend. And I have photographic evidence, ladies and gentlemen, to present to you today on this program. Miss Robin's boyfriend, I'll give you a hint. He was spotted last night at a minor league baseball game. And I will play the tape for you today.
Now, I just got an update, Tony Bruno, from FP Junior.
Yes.
They will be calling in with Gary, so for the simulcast at 11:25 a.m. Pacific. So that will be
I'm getting nervous, actually. I'm nervous for this.
So in 10 minutes. So
I got
Trevor,
the waffle fries, of course. That's the only fries they have.
As soon as Trevor hangs up the phone, we're not going to take any more phone calls until after the Gary segment. Just to let everybody know.
Tony, I can't wait for this Gary segment, and I'm going to say this. I was down in Philly for yesterday's Phillies game, seeing the Mets fans cry and leave, knowing that they've officially have canceled the season. It's great. So,
but I mean, it's, you know what? Listen, fans are fans.
Next weekend.
Rap is rap. Hip hop is hip hop. Fans are fans. I have nothing against the Mets fans. You know, they go out they want to see their team win too. And you know, they saw their team with a 3-1 lead with Edwin Diaz going to the bottom of the ninth, and they thought they were going to win the game. All fans would do that. Who wouldn't think you were going to win the game if you're the Mets? That's what fans are excited. They're thinking we're going to get swept in 4 games. No, and then they got their hearts ripped out. Now, you know, in sports rivalry terms, that's fun. But, you know, there's people who have to drive all the way to New York, pay all those tolls, go on the damn turnpike, pay to get out of New Jersey. I mean, there's a lot of strife right there if you're a...
So, I can't wait for the segment, Tony. I got to get going.
All right, thank you now,
Trevor. Over here.
All right, man. Let us know what happens if you got any good, what is soul cycling action tonight at the LA Fitness.
I'll let you guys know tonight.
I want tape. I want video proof of the 12-6 ratio, the 2-1 female to male soul cycling late night action. I want to see videotape because that's the only way you can prove anything. Beautiful.
All righty.
Thank you, Trevor. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, up there in Connecticut, where UConn will be back in the Big East, but not until 2020. So it won't be this coming season this fall. It'll be the 2020 season, right before the election. Anyway, I know I can't read that one. That's just a little too rough. By the way, Ted Williams, back to sports. Delco Tommy says, back to sports. Ted Williams' head was previously frozen as well, as you know, Robin. Isn't it still frozen? I think it's still cryogenically sealed. I believe it is. I may have to go to my cryo lab and find out what's going on later on. Meanwhile, let's get back to the action here. Before we go on, one of the other big stories, of course, if you tune into ESPN.com, it's the only story that seems to matter. NBA free agency. We are still not allowed to do anything until Sunday, even though you just had a draft where you drafted guys that you really didn't want because the other team wanted that guy, and then he wore your hat, and now he's got to wear another hat. And so Sunday it starts. The Lakers apparently, according to Woj today, and whenever Woj says something, Adrian Wojnarowski at ESPN, I listen because nobody in basketball has better sources or nail stuff faster and more accurately than this guy. A lot of people throw stuff against the wall. Woj doesn't throw stuff against the wall. So the Lakers apparently shipped 3 guys no one's ever heard of to the Washington Wizards so that they can clear up their maximum cap space for ultimate spending pleasure of $32 million. Don't ask me to tell you who these guys are. I don't know who they are. Laker fans don't know who they are. And again, I'm not knocking these individuals. This is just doing their job. They got drafted. They're basketball players. But I literally, and I'm not talking about guys that people should know, unless you're an NBA fantasy geek and you know like 13 men deep and you know the G League players, the 3 guys that they sent cleared up cap space. So now the Lakers have $32 million to go spending like crazy. Like drunken sailors, which I always thought was a bad thing to say, Robin. Why is it that it's always drunken sailors when people say that they throw their money away?
I don't know. I don't think drunken sailors would sell. Well, I mean, they buy more booze.
But not all of them do it. Not every sailor is drunken. You know who throws more money away than drunken sailors? The United States government. And it's our money. Drunken sailors aren't throwing away my money. They're throwing away their money. The government's throwing away all of our money. That's why I will not refer to them spending. That's one of those old things that people still say that shouldn't. That's offensive to me, right? They're out there spending money like drunken sailors. Stupid money, like the Phillies spend. You know what I'm saying? Now, the other big story is Kawhi. We know everybody wants Kawhi, but now the Toronto Raptors have said it. They know he's going to be wooed, wined, and dined. He's going to make all the trips, get all the booze, the food, the chicks, whatever he needs. But the Toronto Raptors say they will give Kawhi the final pitch, and Kawhi's agreed to it. So he's going to go out there and check out the landscape, go to all these different cities, and get all the fan bases excited that he may want to play here. If he comes to Philly, there'll be all kinds of rumors over the weekend about, he was here in this neighborhood looking for schools for his kids. And then all the talking heads and all the bloggers who are obsessed with the Sixers and the processes and all the other stuff. It should be processes, by the way.
Processes.
They're going to say, Kawhi, he was on the main line looking at mansions. He's coming to Philadelphia. And then the Laker fan, oh, man, he was on Hollywood Boulevard. We love it. Kawhi's coming to L.A., but wait, is he going to the Clippers or is he going to the Lakers? That's how it works, and that's fun. But to me, I'll wait till Sunday night when it's all starting to calm down. Wild speculation is not what we do here. You know what I'm saying? And yes, T1J2M says, it's wild that the Lakers actually have 3 players on their roster. Exactly. And now the Lakers apparently want to go back to get the guy D'Angelo Russell that they had before. So that's what happens. Meanwhile, we'll keep you up to date on this stuff. We have updates to go on, and we're still now, 5 minutes away, Robin?
5 minutes away.
I'm getting butterflies now.
I know you.
I have because we didn't plan for the segment, so we could talk about stuff that I planned to talk about on the show. We could talk about baseball.
I have a feeling.
Are we going to talk about the San Francisco Giants baseball team?
No, I have a feeling that it's.
Are we going to talk Warriors free agency? We know Kevin Durant's not going to leave. I mean, he's not going to stay.
This is what I predict. I predict that there's going to be a lot of walking down memory lane. And
great knowledge, by the way. One of the things that was a trademark of this segment for 17 years on KNBR was good knowledge being dropped. In fact, it went from good knowledge, and then we upgraded to great knowledge, and then we took it up to the next level eventually to phenomenal knowledge. So we started with good knowledge,
Uh-huh.
great knowledge, phenomenal knowledge. Can you go any higher than phenomenal knowledge, Robin?
Superior knowledge?
Is superior,
Nah,
but
that
no,
does-
phenomenal is almost like
phenomenal's, yeah.
extraterrestrial. Superior is not better than phenomenal.
I agree.
What's better than phenomenal? Other than Jim Rome saying it. When Jim Rome says phenomenal, then you know it's probably primo. But to me, primo is not better than phenomenal, Robin. Phenomenal is the best. And you know me, I know the best words.
And you know many words.
And I know many words, and I know the best words. And you can trust.
You know how I know?
How?
Because there's a photograph that you have holding a mug that says exactly that.
Exactly. It's my avatar on my, is that what they call it?
Your profile pic.
My profile pic on my Twitter page, at Tony Bruno Show. My Instagram also, Robin. It's not just at Tony Bruno
That's
Show.
true.
What is the Instagram address?
I know, because I can't freaking get a hold of Instagram to change it, because we own Tony Bruno Show as well, but it's Tony Bruno Show 1.
One, there's no underscores or any of that
No,
stuff,
it's
right?
just one.
So on Instagram, it's Tony Bruno Show 1. Just the number 1, not
Yes.
ONE. But that's not hard. When people do underscores and then 16 letters and stuff, that's harder to figure out. It's at Tony Bruno Show 1 on Instagram, at Tony Bruno Show on Twitter, the Facebook action. We got multiple Facebook pages. My original one, the fan page, and now there's the BrunoNation Live
Right,
Facebook
but I haven't
page.
really done anything with it yet. So
All right, so
I just got it so that nobody else would get it.
By the way, Primo was killed by De Niro in the movie called The Fan, as you remember. That was a sports-related movie. Remember that? He was an obsessed gambling degenerate.
Yes, and he took him hostage, and
I don't remember all the specifics. I just know it was a De Niro sports movie. It wasn't actually a mob movie for once. But anyway, we're waiting to go live in San Francisco. We'll keep an eye on, and when we come back, we're going to have all kinds of great updates, including if you're a car racing fan or if you like fast cars. You're going to love this story, or you're going to hate this story.
but I think most people are gonna laugh at this story.
And plus, before we go, let me play the last baseball-related video. Did you get it, Robin? I sent it to you. It's, I believe, last night, ladies and gentlemen, doing all the massive research that this show requires every single day for at least 4 hours before the show, and of course the night before the show, right after we sign off every afternoon. The process never ends here. And our process actually works because we find the choicest, the best, the meatiest, all of the great stuff that you hear every day on the show. It's not just let's fall out of bed and try to slop something together to get through 3 hours. It's like let's fall out of bed, slop a lot of stuff together to make sure it's a quality 3 hours of broadcasting excellence. It's fast cars, baby. It's fast cars. Unfortunately, sometimes fast cars are good.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Exactly.
We're doing
The video.
Video of the baseball, right?
It's the guy who I believe, ladies and gentlemen, this is Robin Austin's former boyfriend. I've been trying to figure out where this guy was, and we found him last night in Memphis, Tennessee, at a baseball game, and Miss Robin is apparently learned her skills from this individual. Let's go to the tape before we go to San Francisco.
One-run game. The Birds have gotten him within 3-2.
Why can't I hear him?
Now, this is a man with a tank top.
Doesn't sound like
He'll face the heart of the Las Vegas order, 3-4-5.
With a gigantic container
Joseph has
of
doubled and
mayonnaise.
singled.
I'm not talking about your little Hellman's jar. I'm not talking about the tiny ones. I'm not talking about the regular ones. We don't need to hear the audio. You have to see this. This is at the Memphis Redbirds game last night, Rob.
Okay, even I would be.
He's got a beard. He pulls out his phone. He's standing there, and it's like a handle of mayonnaise. Do you see the size of that mayonnaise jug? And
Yeah.
he's putting a spoon into it and actually eating mayonnaise. That's Costco size.
Does anybody want to see that again?
Let's watch. Let's go back to the tape in the slow motion here. Guy's on his phone. He's at the Memphis Redbirds minor league game.
And
last
it looks
night.
like it's warm out there, so that's warm mayonnaise. Oh, even I have to go, no.
At least he didn't do the whole, he was like licking it off the spoon.
Ugh.
Now, seriously, Robin cannot have anything without mayonnaise. This guy may be the guy that actually addicted her to putting mayonnaise on French fries, on everything, hamburgers, hot dogs, cheese sandwiches. Sirloin.
Delco Tommy 5. Hey, I'm gagging here.
How warm is that, man?
What?
Well, that's why I don't eat like egg salad, potato salad, especially in the summertime. People make these salads and they have to put mayo in it, right? And then they put it outside on a picnic table. It's 100 degrees. There's flies all over it. There's fly larvae in there. Maggots will be appearing any moment. And then people eat that crap. This guy's got a gigantic jug of mayonnaise at a baseball game.
It does. Dean is like, this wasn't last night. This was over a week ago. You know what? It doesn't matter when it was.
I didn't see it.
Gross.
I thought it was last night. So relax, Dean.
It's
You come into my house. Whatever it was recently. It's not like 10 years old.
No.
I wonder if that guy's still alive after eating all that mayonnaise.
Ugh.
And seriously, do they sell that at the Memphis Redbird games?
And it has a handle on it. You know what? This is some kind of a stunt. I'm sure.
This
And
guy's
that was-
just trying to get hits
he's
on the.
because look at how he posed. You know, he's
And he's got
stretched.
takes the phone
Well,
out.
I
Yeah.
took it out. So I have a feeling that this was like some kind of a stunt for whatever.
Trying to make himself look like a redneck.
And
wearing a
there
tank
was not-
top.
There was not really mayonnaise in there.
What was he eating? Ice cream? Whatever it was, he pulled it off because I and a lot of people probably thought the same thing. So we're getting ready, ladies and gentlemen. In a few moments, we will be going live. I feel like the Walenda Walk over Times Square in New York. In the big build, they do like a 2-hour build-up before they go on the high wire and walk across Times Square. It's beautiful, man. Heat plus mayo is the best. There's no doubt about it. There's no other food source that you can eat in the sun without worrying about any kind of botulism, salmonella, any kind of sicknesses being spread. Now, I like facts on the show. I was wrong. I said last night because I saw this video this morning, and you're right, Dean. I'm about facts and about getting everything right. I made the false assumption that gentleman, and I call him gentleman. I wanted to put it on basically as a cheap shot to Robin. I wanted to put it together with.
Thanks.
Why would
That's
it
so
go?
sweet.
Because Robin always eats mayonnaise. Is that you've admitted it?
I do
We've seen
love
it.
mayo on stuff. I wouldn't eat mayo by itself.
No, I was joking. Nobody eats mayonnaise out of it. I don't know. Maybe people do.
Ew.
Now I like mayonnaise in the sandwich. It gives it that little tang.
Yep.
But I would never get a spoon of mayonnaise
No.
and just eat it.
No, that just,
Even 1 teaspoon.
even that just sounds gross even to me who loves mayo. And I prefer the aioli type mayo where it's
got the
smoother
olive
and
oil in it,
creamy.
yeah.
It's not just olive oil, but it's creamier
Mhm.
and it's more eggy. I don't like the fluffy American mayonnaise that much.
Really, Robin?
Hey, just saying.
For you.
Really, Robin? Are you criticizing America? Do you like? I know you don't like Miracle Whip though.
Ugh.
That's
Oh,
fake mayonnaise, right?
That will just make me barf like no tomorrow. That tangy crap. To me, Miracle Whip sounds like it tastes like mayonnaise that's already started to go bad.
Yeah. What is in Miracle Whip?
I have
It's
no
basically
idea.
a replacement. But I don't think you have to. Do you have to refrigerate Miracle Whip?
Don't know. I've never had it around me long enough to find out.
Yeah, no, and the reason Robin puts mayonnaise on her fries because that's what they do in the Netherlands.
Right.
They put fries. They don't use ketchup,
Nope.
right? They
It's
put their
mayonnaise.
fries, and you could put. Listen, I don't have a problem with a little bit of mayo on a fry, but you know how many calories are in there? You know how much fat?
Do you know
There's
that
no.
there's
There's not
actually-
more ketchup. There's no more fat in ketchup than there is in mayonnaise,
There,
Robin.
but the fat that they have in the Dutch mayonnaise, because it's more egg fat, is actually healthier for you than ketchup. Because ketchup, all the calories come from sugar. There is more sugar in ketchup than I read somewhere. I don't know if this is true, but there's more sugar in ketchup than fruit juice. They add sugar to it.
And when I go like yesterday, I'll use the and I don't know what's in the Chick-fil-A sauce, but I like to put my French fries in the Chick-fil-A sauce too. It's got that smokiness to it. It's probably got 1 million calories, but I only eat one. I only need one Chick-fil-A sauce container for an entire order of French fries. Robin opens like 3 of them. Then she gets the mayo and puts it out. And I always say, Rob, you know how many calories that is right there? Wasted, crappy calories. It's bad stuff, man. And I never got Miracle Whip. Why would you buy Miracle Whip if you have ketchup? And you know, the real people, the real chefs, make their own mayonnaise. They whip that stuff up. I think Dean whipped up some Miracle Whip last night in his kitchen, fortunately. It is, though. The Chick-fil-A sauce. I don't know what they put in it, Robin. I don't even want to know. I never even looked at the ingredients.
In the Chick-fil-A sauce?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a combo of barbecue, mayonnaise, and...
There's no mayonnaise because it's not refrigerated.
But it's creamy. So
Is it refrigerated? Yeah,
Oh,
it is.
yeah,
They refrigerate it. That's right.
refrigerate
It's
it.
not
Yeah.
over in the side where
No,
you have to
no.
ask them before they take it out of the fridge,
It's
right?
like a mayo, really mild honey barbecue, sweet barbecue. It's delicious.
And dipping fries in ice cream is good too. Says TJ.
In
TL,
high
J.
school, I remember there would be kids that would have the chocolate milkshake, and they would get an order of fries, and they would dip their French fries in the chocolate shake, which was kind of a weird. I never did that, but
I remember I used to dip stuff in Coca-Cola when I was a kid.
that is weird too.
I would dip like a grilled cheese sandwich in Coca-Cola.
Ew.
It's not as bad as you think, Robin. It's not as bad as you think.
That's just weird.
Dipping nuggets and fries in a Wendy's Frosty, Trevor said, amazing.
Huh.
And fruit juice. I remember when I was a kid, you know what I used to like, and I never knew it was in it? Blend. Remember Blend? I think they still make it. It was like
Blend?
a lemony thing. It was in a can. It was like in a quart can, and then you would puncture a hole in it.
Uh-huh.
But my mom would get it for me when I was
Blend.
sick. It was
they,
called Blend. I think they still make it.
Did they have to? Was it something that you drink straight out of the can, or did you have to mix it with water?
No. You just
Or as they
refrigerate
say
it.
here, water.
Water. You just refrigerate it, or you take it out, you put it over ice, blend.
We have tons of new people, and I want to thank Beef Bag One. I believe I haven't
Beef
seen
Bag
him.
One.
And Guapo Latte.
Oh.
he's
Wasn't he at the debate the other night when they were in Miami speaking Spanish?
I don't know, but he says almost time to join Gary on his final show. Yes. So yeah, so I'm seeing a lot of new people on here, and I thank you so much for
And
joining.
don't forget to follow the
Yes,
show.
Follow the show. Download for free the app if you don't have it on your phone yet, and then follow the show so that you get notifications every time we go live. And then if you have an Amazon Prime account, then you can link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account and get a Twitch Prime account for free, which allows you then to have one free subscription per month, and that's them. Hang on.
The phone is ringing, Robin. Let's go to the phones right now. I believe we're ready for the hookup. It's always good when you're waiting for the hookup. Oh, we're waiting patiently. And you know these things, they always say 2:30, 11:30 in the West, 2:30 in the East. And sometimes these segments aren't perfectly timed, especially with Gary.
Decades paying into Social Security.
Oh, so they're in a break
they're
right
in
now.
a break right now, and they're coming back in about.
Are they
less
running
than
my
30
Hanbury
seconds.
Hotel ads still?
Social
I
Security
don't know.
evaluation today.
Investment advisory services offered through Liberty Wealth Management, LLC. Registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Liberty Group, LLC.
Giants baseball on KNBR is sponsored by your California Ford
How about
dealers.
those
Visit
Gigante?
buyfordnow.com.
Mike, the theme music again, if you would, please.
He said, don't give me no lines and keep your hands to yourself.
He is America's #1 sports radio personality. And for my last show, this is such an honor. We're not just going to our audience. We are going around the world. Spencer, what's the name of that thing that Tony's on now that he goes around the world?
Twitch.
Do you listen to Twitch at all, or what is it?
No.
All right, let's bring in the fabulous Bruno. Tony, how many countries are we in right now?
I think we're in all 57 states and I believe 700 continents. There's some of the continents that you may not have seen or gotten to yet, Gary, but trust me, they're out there. And people who have if you have internet, you can get this show. You don't need to have the big dishes. You don't need to have any of that stuff, Gary.
Well, I just want to tell you, if like in the old days when we'd go out and pick up chicks, I want you none of those stories because Alicia is here in studio.
Hi, Tony.
How are you, Alicia? Do I congratulate Alicia now, or do I feel sorry for her because now she's going to be stuck with Gary at home every day?
I got a full time. No, I'm recruiting him for drop-off, Tony. Don't worry. I'll put him to good use.
Tony, Alicia and I have been together 23 years. Why the hell you think I worked the last 15? But now I'm going to find out if she really loves me. You know what I mean?
Exactly right,
Gary.
Gary.
We'll find out when she's looking at me all day long. That's going to be tough, because before...
You'll be put to work. Don't worry.
No, she said, especially when we were first dating, he's so dashing. Look at him on TV. Now I'm a semi-battered performer, Tone,
Yeah, it happens to all of us. And, I was talking to you the other night, and that battered performer, I got that from you, Gary. And, again, it's not denouncing anybody, but, You know, when you see people on TV you grow up with, or you go to a concert and it's a performer who's been around forever, and then you look up and you say, wow, that's a battered performer right there.
No. That's why I'll stay home, I guess. But you know what's funny about it, Tone? When you said you stole that from me, you're actually the first guy. I know Vern was doing his original material. Vern Glenn and Larry never stole from me. It was really great, you know. So it's good to have you steal a little something.
Well, you know, we all have things that we take. You know, a lot of the stuff I say, I've heard other people. So it's not, you know, a lot of the things that people think that I made up. It's not. It's just things that I hear and I like and I say them. So I haven't copyrighted anything. I don't have anything on T-shirts yet. But when I do throw my hat in the ring for the nomination, for the Democratic presidential nomination, get on the next debate, I'm going to be out there. By the way, I've already made my pick. I know we don't do politics, Gary. Marianne Williamson, she's got my vote. I'm going to go to...
she was pretty strong last night, Tony. But she doesn't even have 1%. They had too many people on stage. You're watching that last night. Do you agree with the popular wisdom that Kamala Harris stole the show last night?
I don't know. I'm only going to endorse one candidate. Now, I know it's early, but Marianne Williamson right now, anybody who's into Sedona, patchouli oil, love, joy, you know, peace and love. Not since Don Cornelius said love, peace, and so have I been so inspired by a woman who's just talking about love, everybody loving one another, and going out and having a nice sandwich or something and sitting in Sedona and feeling the vortexes, Gary, as you know I love.
Oh, my God. No, those, you know, you can say what you want about Trump, but at least that was good TV when he was on the debate.
Well, again, I just wanted to try to get a Marianne Williamson joke in, Gary. I'm not breaking down the debates. People don't want to hear that here.
I know, but you think our audience, they're waiting for Larry to come back and do the second round of next year's draft.
Are we going to break down the Giants? Are we breaking down the Giants and the Red Hot A's and what else? We got to break down some sports, Gary.
The Giants. Well, how long are they going to be before they bounce back? It's a shame, but Buster, you know, can't hit now, and the whole lineup is pretty anemic. Your thoughts?
Well, you know what happens. We all get up. Are we going to say Buster Posey is now a battered performer at this stage of his career?
Well, I mean, if you're in the squad, as you well know, you used to catch. It's hard on your knees. I mean, you had to quit catching and move to first, didn't you?
Absolutely. And then I became a DH in the American League so I can sit on the bench with the manager who doesn't have to make any decisions for 9 innings.
Yeah, in fact, that's Pablo Sandoval. I think he's got another year or two if he wanted to DH. But, yeah, it's a rough go here because, you know, they're used to 40,000 fans. Now, you're based out of Philly now. Bryce Harper, who I was, you know, driving people nuts, I kept saying, get Bryce Harper, get Bryce Harper. Giants don't have a drawing card. What do you think? Harper's not, his average isn't that great. He has some power. Is he worth what they're paying him?
Well, you know how we've talked about this over the years, Gary. You know what determines what you're worth? What somebody's willing to pay you. And when you can command all these people throwing money at you, and somebody gives you the highest dollar and you take it. I mean, it's going to happen with Kevin. Is it going to happen with Kevin Durant? Is it going to happen with all these free agents this weekend? Is it going to be about money? Because obviously, you know, the Warriors can offer the most. The Sixers can offer Jimmy Butler the most. And so that's when you find out whether it's about the money, whether it's about winning, or whether it's about what the best deal is out there for me and my family.
Well, let me ask you, you know what I always laugh, though, Tony? I forgot to get that in. I'm retiring to spend more time with my family.
Well, you're the first person who's actually saying it where it actually means something.
No.
You know, how many people have retired to spend more time with their family, and then a year later they got another job? Now, you're not going to do that, right, Gary?
No, but let me tell you this, Tony, the reason it doesn't ring with me is that's why everybody got frustrated with me, because I did spend my off time with my family. They wanted me here at the TV station sitting there saying, we used to be somebody, you know?
Now, Gary, I want to give a shout-out to people. Johnny, you know, you call him Johnny the Gout Man. He's Johnny X, Mark Foyer.
Johnny the Gout Man was his, he used that as his white name. Now he's back more comfortable. He's Johnny X. He'll be on near the end of the show, Tony.
Oh, he's a great man, and we keep in touch on Twitter and Facebook. Great guy, and, you know, he's gone through health issues. And Mark Foyer. Mark Foyer is going through health issues, and he's out there in Half Moon Bay.
Yeah, hello to Mark Foyer.
Absolutely.
I visited Mark, and I've been a little slow in my duties because, but Mark, love you, man. Keep doing your thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it is so they'll be on Johnny the Gout Man, and Howard Cosell from Heaven will be appearing. Let me ask you a question about Durant, Tony.
Yes.
Is that if the Warriors out and out make the best offer, I mean, not even close what the other teams, what is it, 50-something million, why would he not want to stay here? Go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, I don't because, is New York, New York is obviously the big appeal for a lot of these guys, and the Knicks have been terrible, and the Nets are okay. But it's about New York and L.A., it seems. And that's what the let's be honest, we talked about this a lot. What does the NBA need to really become dynamic again? The Warriors are great, no doubt about it. But they need the New York team and the L.A. team, the Lakers.
Tony, I keep saying that, and then people say, New York's not what it used to be. Like Zion will make it happen, in New Orleans. That kid Moran is going to make it happen in Memphis. That these guys are individual brands, and having to be in New York or L.A. doesn't make you anymore.
Well, unfortunately, that's what. The marketing. Why did LeBron go to the Lakers? He's a big movie producer. He's got a lot of projects out there. He wasn't coming to Philly. They go around and do their due diligence. Durant's going to do the same thing. Kawhi's going to do the same thing. I see today that Kawhi says, don't worry, he's going to go out and get wined and dined, like we all do, guy. You've been wined and dined. We've been down there, to get our great. The last time I was there, I was cleaning bird poop off your Bentley down there at Grotto number 8.
Tony, you know what's funny about that? Shows you Twitter.
I think you guys might have tweeted about that
Tony,
as well.
Tony,
Yes.
And again, Twitter, and it's part of the game now. We all understand it. Ron Owens walks by here one more time. No more. So, Tony, at least you still laughs to this day. We were looking at your account, and you were breaking down the Philadelphia Eagles, and you got a few responses. You showed yourself cleaning up the bird crap off my Bentley. You got 2,500 responses.
Exactly.
Why is that?
Because people want to see bird poop on a Bentley down at the Fisherman's Wharf in front of Grotto number 8, and grown men wearing nice clothing wiping the poop off Gary's car.
Hey, let me do a shout-out. You mentioned that to great Mike Giraldi. He retired from our old stomp. That's the one place that we kind of missed.
Yes,
we would go see
Grotto
Mike all
number
the time.
9.
Is that
Absolutely,
I downgraded them to Grotto number 8. I'm sorry, Alicia. It's Grotto number 9.
But that's okay.
Tony, you know how I could tell he was getting ready to retire?
How?
He started charging us.
Not true, Michael. I know you're listening.
Mike, I'll never forget. You were the greatest. But then in that last thing, I came in. I wouldn't have eaten much if you knew you were going to give us a bill. But no, so that was fun, Tony, and all that. I'm trying to think of all the people. Sam Spears,
Yep.
auto race or horse racing thing.
Ray Woodson. I mean, there's so many great people.
We're fielding calls, Tone. Hang on. Go ahead.
Yeah, Sam did call, and he wanted to say hello to you guys, and that's about it.
Yeah, okay.
Mike,
Well,
Mike, I know we got a break. I'm sorry, I had to do that to give Mike one of my favorite all-time comments.
Tony, we would get that all the time, too, and they'd say, Tony is so respectful of the work people here, and all Gary does is yell at him. Mike, I know we're going to break. What the hell is going on here?
I haven't heard that kind of anger since Mike Francesa when the Mets lost yesterday.
Yeah, what is he doing? Now, if I pull a Mike Francesa, Tony, will you promise just shoot me in one leg? I don't want you to kill me, but just, he retired, had a big celebration, all this stuff, and then he came back 3 months later. What's that about?
I don't know. It would be like Boach coming back next year and said, I need to reboot this thing. I think we got a future ahead here.
Boach, yeah. Very good. Hey, in the next segment, we'll take a quick break, and then we've had a lot of bits through the years, and again, for the younger people who are hanging around through this, Tony Bruno and I, what did we go, Tony? How many years?
17 years, Gary.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I think it was 15.
All right, we'll just add 2 for it's inflation. We got to account for inflation.
Exactly, and then at the end, Tone, I know you're on Twitch. How many countries are we in right now?
Well, Miss Robin is checking now. She's running the horizontal and vertical portion of the show. Robin wants to say hi to Alicia and Gary too. Say hi, Robin.
Hey guys.
Hey, Robin.
Hi, Robin. We have to get you guys back so we can go out again.
Absolutely. Yeah, actually, I'm going to be pulling up the photographs of the Bentley and Tony and Gary being very upset that there's a couple of spots on it, and then Tony volunteering to clean it off.
Exactly.
Well, you know what's sad,
That's a
Robin
good
and
friend.
Tony? My thing has always been a car. That was my thing to fake it, or not even fake it, but just to So, like Tony, in college, when I was done with my career, and
Ratty's
I
caddy.
couldn't play
It was
anymore-
Ratty's caddy, right?
Exactly. I went out and got a Cadillac. About 10 years ago when, Gary's now, late 50s. Can he do it anymore? We don't know. He's on TV. He's on blah, 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 blah. I went out and got a Bentley, and all of a sudden, man, he's doing good. So now, Tony, I got a Mercedes 560, but if people start forgetting, or if I see somebody on the street saying, how you hanging in there, I may go Bentley again, Tone.
So the Bentley's gone?
Yes, about 8 months ago, Alicia said, quit being a jackass.
Tony, we have a daughter at NYU. I'll downgrade my car.
No. Now we are going to get one back. Tony, don't believe her. No, so we just went out. But an S560 is good enough, isn't it, Tony?
Yeah, it's good enough. I mean, I'm driving a Jeep Cherokee, Gary. I'm replacing my own filters, but that's the way the world works. You know what I'm saying?
No, but you're more of a real outdoorsman. You can do anything. You're a guy that can, like Alicia yells at me, you can't fix anything. Tony, you can fix stuff. You can do it all.
I can fix, but not as well as Richard the Fixer Perry, your buddy out there at UNLV back in the day when you were playing ball coming out of San Jose and dominating at UNLV.
I'll tell you what was, Tony, when people talk about cheating and all that's going on now, I'm telling you, Vegas back in those days, we really cheated. It was fantastic. It was fantastic. And like I said, I've told this many times, but I would have guys on the team look at their report cards and go, hey, man, I didn't even know I had this class. So it was, but I was not in that hot tub. What's Larry like to say? Well, who was the guy, the name you always mentioned?
Richard the Fixer Perry in the hot tub in Vegas.
It was in his hot tub, but Marcus Spears, there was some, Rory, there was some guy.
Marcus Spears is a writer. Marcus Spears is a basketball writer. I don't think he was in the hot tub.
Okay. Hey, we'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back, and we're going to bring in somebody very close to Kim Kardashian. Tony, you familiar with this?
Ray J? Not that close.
Same name.
Yeah, that is terrible, though, when you say, how did you make it? I laid next to Ray J. It's just terrible, isn't it?
Actually, no, it's pretty great for her. I mean, look at we all should be as downtrodden as Kim Kardashian.
Okay, let me ask you this. If I said lay next to Ray J and I'll film it and you'll be a billionaire, would you do it?
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll take a quick break. Again, still on the head, we're going to have Kate Scott jump in for a few minutes. Raj Mathai will come on so I can want to hear me say he's the best anchor in the market. Pam Moore for a couple of minutes. Mr. Salvador, who Tony, Ralph, and I built this dump, and we'll go with some of our favorite callers as well. But that's all coming up with the fabulous Bruno and the one man who said, Kardashian, put your clothes back on. I'm not interested. You like that, Tony?
I love that guy.
Oh, Tony's talking to the Twitch audience now. Around the world on East Sports Leader.
One last time, we hear.
Nobody cares. Where'd you grow up, punk? You know all the cheeses? Oh, my, stick it up your frickin' ass. Who does that? Who has time?
As we say
goodbye
to the fabulous Gary Radnich on KNBR 680, the sports leader.
As a small business
All right, so they're going to go to a break, and we're going to keep it right here, as they like to say on that. So we're having a lot of fun. Come back for one more segment with Gary, just reliving a lot of good times. There's a lot of fun, Robin.
It is.
Now, Robin has been on, if you're watching us on Twitch, Robin has she's pulled up a lot of the photos from our fun times in San Francisco with Gary and the whole gang. My buddy, Mr. Giulio Tempesta, my brother, we used to go to his restaurant. That's gone. Gary's gone. I'm gone. Where did everybody go?
I have to apologize for Gary's volume being a little bit lower. Don't know exactly what, but when I try to bring it up, it immediately goes to the echo, which wasn't happening on previous
I don't know.
days,
Yeah, we're trying to keep it really clean and keep it real, keep it raw, and most importantly, keep it continue. The same thing. So Gary's going to come back in a moment. We're going to keep talking. We're on Twitch TV. Robin's posting pictures. Now, are they still on TV in the Bay Area too with the Richard Zinn? I haven't heard from Richard Zinn. I thought, is he still involved out there in NBC Sports Bay Area, NBC Sports California?
I'm assuming.
Because Gary was doing, when I would do the show, I had a studio in the house in Venice.
Yes.
And I would go on with Gary every day
Now,
on TV and radio.
Tony, I'm going to keep this. I have to keep it in the background every now and then.
No,
so
I know. So
check.
we know.
Okay.
I know when they're going. I know we're going to break, Robin. We're not going to break. They're going to break. What's the matter with you?
We don't have breaks, although we should, at this moment, do a little housekeeping since we
What,
can
spill
pretend
something?
We can pretend that we're on a commercial break. Which
Well, we're going to continue to talk to our audience out there, and we'll be back with Gary Radnich soon.
I know that we have tons and tons of new people on here. Again, the Twitch app is free to download, whether it's on your computer or on your phone. So download the app. Make sure that you, at least, no matter what else, follow the BrunoNation Live channel so that you will then get updates whenever Tony goes live.
Exactly right. We're going to
So
go live
it's the
again
little-
tonight.
it's the
Friday
little-
night, day, night,
That's
doubleheader.
right. We are going to go into the night, just like old times, and it's so click on the little purple heart. And that way you will get all the updates. You can subscribe if you would like through your Amazon Prime account for free. If you have an Amazon Prime account, because who doesn't?
Exactly.
Then you link your Amazon Prime to Twitch by clicking the red button in our info page. It'll immediately take you through the steps to do that. And then once you are a Twitch Prime member, you get one free subscription to any channel of your choice.
For an entire month.
And
then you don't have to auto-renew. You can, but they'll give you a month at a time where you can subscribe for multiple months.
Right, and so but you get it free every single month. It's not just
Exactly.
1 month that you get for free. Every month.
But it's not. They don't call you and bug you. I mean,
No.
if you do 1 month at a time, at the end of the month, you got to go back on and renew.
Just some stuff you never heard. And whenever I can say something you haven't heard after all these years, that's a bonus. But we do have the fabulous Bruno. Tony, real quick, you should see the text line coming in. What do you got, Alicia?
Gary and Tony Bruno, great stuff.
Yeah.
Flashback Central with Gary and Tony Bruno, great stuff. And Tony, maybe Tony can put your Christmas lights up this year.
Yeah,
Tony, you want to come visit us in December?
Absolutely, yes. We were actually there last. We were there.
You out.
We were actually there last holiday season to see Robin's mom in Menlo Park, and then she went out and we saw that. And we didn't get to see John Handlery, but we didn't get into the city. But we were in Menlo Park and down there, in Atherton. We were.
Tony, can I
Yes.
say one? I could always tell if you were spending the night at John Handlery. All of a sudden, he became George Clooney. You know what I mean?
No, because the Beta Breakers. One of our producer Luigi was out there. He ran in the Beta Breakers with Robin's mom, and I was wondering whether you were still emceeing the Beta Breakers, because you were the official MC for how many years?
Geez, Tony, I hate to tell you, no, I did the Beta Breakers for 10 years on TV, but when I actually had to go out there, no, that was the bridge to bridge run.
Oh, okay, not the the bridge to bridge.
No, the Beta Breakers, I would have had to stay longer. The bridge to bridge, I said 4, 3, 2, 1, and I was home in 5 minutes. So that was it. Hey, Tony, I just opened a gift there. I want to give a shout out to Brian Murphy and Paul McCaffrey. All right.
Is that Murph and Mac? Murph and Mac, those guys?
Yeah, they left. We just opened it. They left a nice gift with a microphone, and it says, "What are you driving?" Okay, with Legends of Our. But what do you remember, Tony? You weren't a part of when I first started. I was so fascinated that somebody would drive a car with the rims falling off, but they had a cell phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. No, I remember those days, Gary.
Yeah, so that was the bit. What are you driving? What are you driving? But anyway, the text line has been jumping, so it's nice to know somebody remembers. But I got to bring in a guy. Tony, if we said this is in our top 2 or 3 bits that we did together, would you consider Kardashian right up there?
Oh, absolutely, Gary. I mean, when you go over 15, 17, whatever it was, years, it's pretty hard to break it down to 1, 2, 3. In fact, we may have to put together a catalog and have the best ever bits, and then sell it, and put it on CD, put it in a book, put it on DVD. Put it on PBS so we can have people break during the middle of it and come back and then subscribe and keep coming on to the Twitch channel here at Twitch TV. Twitch.tv, BrunoNation Live, by the way, Gary. That's where I'm on every day if people want to subscribe. You don't even have to pay to join it. You just watch it every day. We're on every day 1 to 4. And you got to come back on the show later, Gary, when you calm down and you get your feet back on the ground. Because Robin says, you should ask Gary if he's going to do a podcast with you. I said, let the guy retire.
In fact, Tone, hang on a second. We got Spencer for a quick review. He knows his father. Spence, do you think your dad will ever appear on Twitch TV?
No.
Oh, well, that's Spencer. But no, don't.
Well, Spencer, wait a minute. Twitch, all the kids are on Twitch. It was the original gaming app. That's where the guy Ninja plays Fortnite on there.
Spence, do you play? Do you hear what Tony said? No.
Yeah.
And you don't use Twitsin?
No.
All right. Well, anyway.
That's bad knowledge right there, Gary. You know, I said earlier before we came on, we have good knowledge to begin with. Then it became great knowledge. And then we took it all the way up to number 11 with phenomenal knowledge.
And here's a guy with phenomenal, one of the greatest bits we've ever had. And we would ask him, this went on for like 2 years, and we'd ask if Kim Kardashian and this, in fact, this is so long ago, Ray was not married. But we would ask this gentleman if Kim Kardashian knocked on your door at midnight and said, "You're alone, I'm alone, can I come in?" Tony, you know what he said?
Yep, he said no.
Yes,
no, he said,
"Get out!" The son of the mom who used to run Lorimar Pictures and Dallas, and one of the all-time nighttime favorites here, people still ask me about, the great Ray Woodson.
The great Ray Woodson.
Gary, I'd still say no.
No, wait, let's get this cleared up. Ray, by the way, Alicia's here. And
hello, Ray.
She's finally stopped sweating from your wedding, Ray.
Hey, I'm still sweating.
Jesus, I know Alicia gets mad when I say it. I swear to God, I kissed her at the wedding. I thought it was Patrick Ewing. You know what I mean?
It was a hot day, but a beautiful day, Ray. Thank you for having us.
I should have gotten some Arizona misters.
Oh, Tony, it was 105 at Ray's wedding.
But it was a dry heat, Gary. It's Arizona. Did you go to Sedona and see Marianne Williamson at least up there?
Yeah. So I got up to speak. I'll never forget Marianne Williamson, the presidential candidate at 1%. I'll never forget. I'm up there talking to Ray Singh.
From her.
Yeah. Ray, I remember you had me speak at the wedding, and I'm looking out at our friend who's doing a real great job, the great Dan Dibley.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And Dan I could just see him in his eyes. I've heard all that crap before. It was not, you know what I mean? Dan was not responding. At 105.
In a new audience.
Oh, great. How you doing, Ray, though, real quick?
The temperature keeps going up every time you say it. It's going to reach the boiling point of water by the time you're done with it.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'll get ready quick. I'm about to go back to local here and leave Twitch myself. But, Ray, always, thought the world of you. Great guy, great class, great knowledge. What did I tell you all the time? If you'd only screamed a little more.
I know. It's okay. I still have my voice.
No, you got it right. You left at the right time. Believe me. It's just you just left at the right time. How'd you like to be on after a Giant game now?
I'm good here in Arizona enjoying family money.
Okay. Tony, your last chance to talk to a guy whose mother told Patrick Duffy, taught him how to swim for Aquaman, the original. It was the original Aquaman with Patrick Duffy, right?
Exactly. I believe you're right.
Yeah, and Ray knew Larry Hagman. Remember that? You couldn't talk to Larry Hagman on Tuesday, Ray? Was that it? There was in his Buddhist beliefs, he would not talk on 1 day a week.
He was a complex man, Gary. My mom would just say, he's a piece of work.
Yeah.
But she works with him, Bruno, how you doing?
I'm good, but I don't have family money, Ray, so I'm not in Arizona. I'm stuck in a basement in South Philadelphia on the street I grew up on.
Hey, Ray, let me say it. Talk about family money. He's around the corner from Charles Barkley in Paradise, Arizona.
Beautiful. Is he really?
Yeah. Yes. Ray, rub it in and then say goodbye to Tony.
Well, Ray, good to hear your voice again, man. Good to hear your voice.
Good to hear you, too. That was the most fun I ever had on radio. It was out of control, and that's what made it great.
Yeah, well, we loved it, Ray. Hey, no offense, with all that family money, next time I talk to you, get a GD phone that's better. We'll see you, Ray.
Okay. Take care, Gary.
The great Ray Woodson. And, Tony, I want to thank you. People wanted to hear you again, and that was great, man.
No, I'm honored to have been on with you all these great years. You're a legend in the Bay Area. I know you, especially when you went up and picked up your Bay Area Sports Hall of Fame awards and all the placards. No, that's the joke. I mean, when you sent people out to pick out the, I'm the same way. I actually did pick
it up for $200. I had to give Patrick $200 in cab fare. Tony, the best one of all. Some guy texted in and said, "Will you be paying Patrick $200 to come in and do your last show?"
He wanted $250, and Gary said, "No, that's enough." That's my favorite line of all time, Gary. Your Frank Sinatra line. What's the Frank Sinatra line?
Frank Sinatra once saved my life. Shecky Green says, Frank Sinatra once saved my life. He told the guy who was beating me up, that's enough. So there you go. Tony, I love you. You still sound great, and you're number one, baby, when it comes to this medium.
Well, thank you, Gary.
You still got your pride. Nobody shoves you around, and you're fantastic.
Well, thank you, Gary. Love to Alicia and the kids, and tell your son to get on Twitch today, or else I'm never coming back out there and putting up the Christmas decorations this fall.
Will do, Tony, right away.
One last time. Will you be on Twitch?
Maybe.
All right, thank you, Tony. You talked him into it. All right, Tony.
Goodbye.
I'll talk to you.
All right, Gary. Take care.
That's a fabulous Bruno. No, I love Tony, and he was great. That was so many people wanted us to do shows, and we'll see. But I think I've about had it.
Oh, there it is. So there
That was
you have it,
awesome.
ladies and gentlemen. And see how fast a half hour goes? We do that every day.
That was fantastic.
Every day, and you can tell it's well prepared. It's well thought out. The best part is when I would do it from everywhere in the world.
Oh, I know.
I'd do it from my mom's house when I was on a roof fixing stuff.
Did you ever do it from Sicily when you were over there?
I don't know. I don't remember now. I doubt it because the time difference and all that other stuff.
Yeah, maybe difficult to pay, but I know that when I was working with you on Into the Night before the Gary segment stopped, we did it from Disneyland.
Yeah, we did it from Disney World. We did it from everywhere.
I think you did it from top of the highest point in Arizona.
Correct, up at the what do you call it? The San Francisco Peaks.
Yeah.
Up there in Flagstaff, all the way up at the top of Flagstaff, which is awesome.
For whatever reason, Gary just thought it was hysterical whenever you would do it around. And then I remember at Disneyland, we were standing in line for what are those?
The Dole Whips.
The Dole Whip.
The Dole Pineapple Whips.
Whip. And there were people in line that knew who you were. So
Right.
then, because they were from the Bay Area as well.
Yep.
And they were so excited. And then you put the girl on
Yeah,
the
I was doing.
phone.
So I'm standing in line for a pineapple Dole Whip,
In
and anybody's
Florida.
been
This
to
was
Disney.
not in. It wasn't in the California Disney. It was in
It's
Disney
in Florida.
World.
Disney World in
yeah.
Florida. And the California, I mean, the pineapple Dole
Oh,
Whips.
they're
How
so
great
delicious.
are those? And there's they had to make a bigger stand. You know, there used to be a small
Yep.
place, and then they made
They're
a
so
gigantic one because it's so popular. Now they're doing alcohol pineapple Dole Whips.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Some rum. Pineapple Dole Whip with rum. That would be fantastic.
No, they have all kinds of stuff at the pineapple.
anyway, that's
so
the-
anyway, so I would do it. I would hand the phone off. I would interview people standing in line for a pineapple Dole Whip at Disney. We did it at golf courses, Super Bowls, Final Fours, wherever we were, vacations, even like we were in the British Virgin Islands. I would call in and check in with Gary.
Thank you, NorCal Boxing Fan, for the bits and Sparkplug TV. Tony, if I'm Kim Kardashian... No, excuse me, rephrase. Tony, if Kim Kardashian comes a-knocking, do you answer the door?
Hell yeah.
Really? Still?
Yes.
Even after you know where she's... That's like...
Hey, that's why God created double bagging.
No, it's not like food that has the 5-second rule. There is no 5-second rule with
Listen,
Kim Kardashian.
she's clean. I mean, just because she had a past, we've all had pasts. Some of us live in the past. Kim Kardashian comes knocking on the door. You're damn right.
I hear you.
Whoever says no,
They lie.
they're lying.
They lie.
If Kim Kardashian came to the door and you answered it, Robin, I'm going to put you on the hot seat now.
No. Well,
Not even for
okay,
me?
You know, I would have to... See, here's the problem.
What?
I think it's different for a lot of women. Women have to have that emotional connection first.
Nah, not if they have a couple cocktails and everything's
No.
loosey-goosey.
And so like, if I don't feel like... So I'd have to talk to her. And from what I've seen, I don't think she's a very good conversationalist.
Come on, Robin. What's the matter with you?
But hey, let's just say I wouldn't slam the door in her face right away.
What's the matter with you?
For you.
You know what you would have to do? I'd have to get you ready with
Ordered a jalapeno burger.
I'd order you an jalapeno
A
burger.
chicken fried steak sandwich.
Yep.
A chili cheese dog with extra onions. French fries. Tater tots. Washed it down with one beer. 2 beers,
Yeah.
3 beers, a shot of whiskey, a margarita, and a Bloody Mary.
Then I'd vomit and say, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, no, I was going to say all that food is not conducive to anything.
What? Exactly. So that was a lot of fun. I hope everybody enjoyed it like we did.
Don Juan 720. I wouldn't kick crackers out of the bed for eating her. Yeah.
Come on. Anyway, we have open lines, and we have another hour of action. And then don't forget, because you've been so good to us, and you've told your friends to follow us and all the other good stuff and watch us on twitch.tv. We're trying to build a new empire here, and it takes help. We're not asking you for, we're not political candidates asking you, well, you have to have $65,000 or we don't get on the debate stage stuff. We don't ask you for anything.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have breaking news.
We have breaking news?
We have breaking news. We have broken the 500
follower mark?
The 500 cherry.
Exactly.
So there we are. Our cherry is
about damn time. As LeBron James once said.
It's about damn time.
Thank you.
So now we have to start it over.
We're not going off until we get to 1,000 followers by today. All those people in San Francisco, just the people standing in Union Square alone who are big Gary and Tony fans. If they just all grab their personal electronic device, make sure you don't touch any hypodermic needles or any other substances nearby, and do it as safely as possible. You got to do it. You got to do it. Follow.
We have TV's Bandad started following us. Thank you so much.
TV's Bandad?
TV, like not TV, but
television?
TV. Television's Bandad. We have
Did you go to band camp that one summer?
Tris Money, NorCal Boxing Fan, BD Thrill, K-Bry 96, Sparkplug TV.
A lot of great new followers, and we appreciate everybody checking us out every day. And this is what we do now. We're in the wine cellar in South Philadelphia on the street I grew up on. Who said you can't go home again?
No, this is Pibular.
Pibular. Not tubular.
Cougnut. We have more phone calls. One moment.
Let's go to the phones. 215-462-TONY. 215-462-8669. It's the Friday free-for-all, keeping you up to date. We got to get the soccer game on. The women are in action today. And when we have women action, we always get it on. USA and France, big quarterfinal matchup. It's underway, Robin. Can you do me a favor, please? Right behind you before we go back to the phones. I want to get that stinking local TV radio show on where they do nothing but NBA talk. Let's get some soccer action in here.
Absolutely. And we have somebody on the line that you probably will recognize the voice of, the fabulous Mike who used to call in all the time.
Mike! Oh, no, not Mike Holler. Not Mike, the producer of Gary Radnich, who used to get yelled at and still is all the time, except this is the last day he'll get yelled at. What's going on, Mike?
Tony, Mike, I'm a long-time listener from years ago when you were on WIP. I've spoken to you about this years ago over on Into the Night. You were the one person that actually, I'm a blind person, and you came to a place called the Variety Club Camp. And for those of you that need the Variety Club Camp knowledge, it's a camp up in Worcester, outside of King of Prussia. And you came to the Variety Club Camp with the helicopter from when you worked with New Jersey 101.5, and you were the one person when I was a blind kid that actually brought me up into the chopper. And, I was able to feel around the helicopter and all that kind of stuff.
Well, that was fun. I mean, it was an honor. And, that's why the Variety Club camps and all the camps where people are handicapped or can't see or some people can't hear, I always love going up there. And my helicopter pilot, great guy. We flew around all the time. I got a lot. I spent a year in a helicopter flying around with him, whether it was to camps in the summertime or as he dressed up as Santa Claus to come out of the helicopter. The Mike Ciccone, he is a former military guy, great pilot, he actually taught me how to fly a Bell Jet Ranger a couple of times when we went up to, we got to fly up to Pocono Raceway and land in the infield before one of the big races up there. So I've had an unbelievable career, and it was an honor coming up to the Variety Club Camp. I love doing that stuff for all the people.
that was great stuff. I really and I really admit it's funny. I being blind, I was one of the only blind kids up there, and it's funny looking back on it because when I would go to the camp there, I'm ready to walk to the pool and all this stuff, and everybody's like, you gotta wait. We got this so and so in a wheelchair. I'm like, really, because I can walk around pretty well. I plan on coming home. I'm up in. I've lived here for about a year and a half now. I'm living up in Shamokin, which is about, I don't know, half out outside of Sunbury.
Yeah, I know where Shamokin is. Absolutely. I haven't been there, but I know where it is.
Yeah. Well, I plan on coming home to visit probably, I don't know, maybe the week after the 4th or so. Now, I have a couple questions now. Now, being blind, when I listen to the show on my iPhone, what is that beep sound I hear? That bling bling? Is that a text?
No, that's one of our Twitch fans or followers throw some bits at us. So it's like a tip jar. So whenever somebody tips us bits, we hear that, and then we thank the person so we can see that they've done it, and we have a little tip jar, and that's how we're working here. We're basically like a piano bar. Robin, it's on regular Fox. It's not on the net.
I know. I'm going through there, too. So.
Robin can't find the damn soccer game. It's an outrage.
Wow.
We'll get it on here in a second.
I get fascinated because when I envision when I listen to the show, I kind of picture in my mind different stuff, like when you guys were sweating it out last week in the wine cellar.
Yes, it was hot. We got the air conditioned now. It was hot. We were in pajamas, and we're sweating down here.
We were schwitzing up
Yes,
a
we
storm.
were. No, but it's nice and cool now. We got the window, my $98 ShopRite window air conditioner in, and it's on regular Fox 29, Robin.
Wow.
And so that's we you know what it is? We just have fun.
That's awesome. And it's funny, when I found the show, I guess it was a few months ago, I happened to figure out, I didn't know about this whole Twitch thing. When I went to the app, I had a sighted person help me get into it. So when I heard the show a few months ago, and you did that bit with Harry at, what was it, the Sunshine or the Sun, what was the name of that bar?
Moonshine.
When Harry came on.
Moonshine.
Yeah,
Moonshine.
That was a great show you did with Harry that day. I was really amazed. It was right after when he left the Fanatic. And that was funny because I didn't know what happened then, and I'm like, what happened with Harry? And then one night I was up late and having a couple beers, and I thought, let me check in to see what my boy Tony Bruno's up to. And I looked, and there you were. Sure enough, the episode was there. Question, what happened to our boy JT the Brick?
JT's still living in Las Vegas. He's still involved with the Raiders. And, his radio stuff stopped, but he's lived in Vegas. He does a lot of stuff in Las Vegas. And we stay in touch, and he's one of my good friends and a great broadcaster. And so now he's doing his own thing as well. Hey, we got to run because I got to get up to date on all the other stuff going on right now. But it was great to talk to you again, man. And JT's doing he's doing a podcast out there from Las Vegas.
Is he?
Yeah,
Okay.
so if you could have somebody I don't know exactly how to get. I'm sure if you go to Apple and all the podcasting locations, you can find him if you want him. Thank you so much.
Okay,
man.
great. I'll check in tonight.
All right, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tony. Bye.
All right, USA is already up 1-0, Robin. While Robin was trying to find the channel, this is on main Fox. And Megan Rapinoe now is down. She's down to one knee, and it's not even the national anthem play. Sorry, I had to do that.
So, yes, we are, and I think
So it's 10 o'clock tonight. So into the night, the actual time when we did it from Los Angeles.
Correct.
We would be on 7 to 10 p.m. Pacific time, but that was 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. here in the East. So JT's on the Apple podcast. And he's doing a show with Tom Looney, our good friend Tom Looney. Yeah, and those guys work together, and so that's awesome. And I figured they would hook up on a podcast, and that's perfect. So JT the Brick and Looney doing an Apple podcast. Beautiful. So the USA's already up. I didn't even see who scored, but 1-0. They're in the 15th minute now in the first half of the quarterfinals in France, which is, I believe, near Paris.
Now, I know that most of the people, which is totally understandable, don't blame them at all, that turned in brand new today
Yep.
because they were hearing it through Gary's show.
On KNBR 680.
Yeah, a lot of them have dropped off again because they want to finish
Exactly.
listening again,
That's
which
totally
is
understandable.
Totally understandable. I absolutely get it, but I really want to reiterate how much we love seeing all these new faces.
Yes.
And
That's what they say in the industry. It's always good to look for new faces, Robin.
And I have a feeling that Gary would not be opposed to popping on every now and then just over the phone.
No, I agree, and I think that'd be fun.
Because, for him, it's not like it's going to have to go to work every day. He can now do it from, do they have a pool? That's one thing. You didn't ask them if they have a pool, because you would absolutely volunteer to go skim
I'd
his
go
pool.
skim the pool. I mean, I did shows from the pools in Sonoma,
Yes.
whether it was Julio Tempesta's house up in Sonoma, California.
It is one of your favorite
I am.
things to
Wherever
do.
I go to somebody's house and they have a pool, unless it's one of those little kiddie pools. I'm not cleaning no damn kiddie pools. But if it's an in-ground pool and you got a good skimmer, my son's place in Maryland, there's just something therapeutic
It's
for me
weird
about
how much you love doing that.
cleaning the pool and having, everything just spotless. And then I see that one damn little leaf fall in or one bug hit the water and I go apoplectic. Skimmer? Yes. We should have that. I mean, we can see, that's the great thing about doing the show. It's a work in progress. Yeah, we can have Harry and A-Town on once a week. Maybe have Josh Innes pop on once a week. Gary. And just make it a fun type of situation in the Situation Room without even Wolf Blitzer being involved in any way, shape, or form. Meanwhile, let's get back to the phones.
Yes.
215-462-TONY, 215-462-8669. We got to do this update while we're waiting for the phones to start percolating again. I'm a big horsey guy, horse racing. A lot of people are upset because Santa Anita has lost 30 horses.
Mm-hmm.
They will though still host the Breeders' Cup in the fall, where they bring in the top horses for the races every year. The Breeders' Cup in Santa Anita, which is to me still stunningly one of the most beautiful race courses in America. We've been up there at Santa Anita, Robin. The backdrop of the mountains.
It's gorgeous.
It's an absolutely gorgeous place in Arcadia, California. And they're having problems there, and a lot of people are calling for it to shut. Now, the meet is over, so that's what was going on whenever they have a meet. But there's still horses that train there every day, even though there's no racing right now. The card is over.
Mm-hmm.
And what they're doing is this is where they're trying to figure out what's going on in the paddocks with the trainers and all these other things. But while people are focusing on horse racing in this country, I believe there should be something going on in this country which is huge elsewhere, primarily in one country. But why not here, Robin? And I'm not about animal abuse. I don't think these animals are being abused. We were watching a story on it last night because, as you know, I'm a huge Science Channel guy.
Yes.
And I was watching the Science Channel show called What on Earth?
What on Earth? Now, first, before we do that, I have to show you. Well, I can't show you that. What on Earth gives you the satellite images, and from the top of the satellite, Google Earth, you could see that there was some kind of a track in the middle of the desert.
Right.
In Egypt. Was it Egypt or Dubai?
No, it was in the I think it was in the United Arab
UAE. Yeah,
UAE.
In the United Arab Emirates. And then when you zoomed in a little bit, you could see that there were
like roads,
like concrete in a big, big circle with arrows on it. So
everybody's thinking it was a racetrack.
Right.
And they have all the luxury cars out there in Dubai.
Right.
I mean, these people are there's probably more millionaires and billionaires in Dubai than any place on earth. And what do billionaires always have? Fancy cars. And I'm not talking about Benzes. I'm talking about Lamborghinis.
But here's the dealio. If you drive your big fancy car, the police over there also have Lambos.
Yep,
and
they're not trying to
Bugattis.
catch you with a Ford Fiesta.
No,
they got super jacked up 700 horsepower Lambos, McLarens, you name it.
And so a couple of the scientists were like, when they first saw that, were like, well, maybe this is a place where all these rich folks can drive their really fast cars without getting in trouble. No, because...
Are we going to do the car story first before we do the horse racing comparison story?
We should actually. Would be a better segue, wouldn't it?
Well, it's cars, horses, animals. We're all about that stuff. I'm all about that. But let's do the car one, though. Because you and I, when we were in Arizona about 9 years ago, we were up in Flagstaff area, and it's beautiful. You go up above the tree line, and then it's all what are all the trees when you get up to above a certain altitude?
Aspens.
Aspens. You can see it. The trees change. They go from pine trees. The pine trees continue, but the aspens, the beautiful white aspens. No, they're the birches, I think. They're not aspens, Robin. I think they're white birch.
Okay. I thought they were, well, whatever. They kind of
They're beautiful,
look,
yeah.
They look very
And you
similar.
go up and you see, and all of a sudden the trees change because you're going up to altitude and it gets cooler up there. So Robin and I are driving up there. We're pulling over. It's a beautiful day. The scenery's amazing. And then all of a sudden we hear these humming noises. I mean, loud noises. Did we think they were UFOs?
I mean, it sounded like it was a jet plane that was coming in our direction.
And then all of a sudden, as we're sitting there, it got louder and louder, and it was McLarens, the car McLarens, and they were prototypes that they were using these mountain roads with test drivers to crank these things up. Now, they had the roads closed to other people. We were up there earlier, so they didn't throw us off the mountain, but we couldn't be on the road because they wanted to make sure these McLarens could just basically open it up and go up. And these are twisty, turny roads. They're going from 10,000, 9,000 feet down to 4,000 feet. So we hear this noise, and we're watching it. And we're like, dude, what is that? And then all of a sudden, they come in, and they pull into the parking lot that we were sitting in, and they open the hoods of these things. And Robin has some of the video of that stuff. And we got you just have some still pictures?
I have some still
So these things were matte black. They didn't have any of the instrumentation inside. They were basically prototype cars that they were going to start producing, and they wanted to make sure that they could pass the tests in the United States to start commercially producing them for people to actually buy in the United States. Obviously, they're legal in Europe, but they weren't, so they were doing road testing in the elevations of Arizona.
So here's Tony. If you're watching on Twitch right now, you can see Tony sitting in one of those prototype McLarens. And the thing that was really great was that a lot of the guts of the car
they're exposed.
Was taken out because they were doing a emissions testing.
Correct.
Because they had to do a completely different type of emissions testing for the United States and Canada.
But you can see the engine. I mean, these things are monsters. These things were absolutely monster vehicles. I mean, you barely can fit in them. But they're not meant for comfort.
Right.
They're meant for speed.
So here in the back, you can see all the electronics all out. But we got to sit in it, and I was trying to convince them to take me for a drive. But then Tony dragged me out, and he wouldn't let me.
You had to be a Yenta again, Robin. You had to be a Yenta.
But then we were watching them going up, and so they were, the reason why they were up there was they had to figure out the emissions testing at different altitudes.
Correct.
And so we were watching them go up and down, and we would listen to them. Well, now it took them a while to get approval with all the emissions testing here in Northern America. They finally got approval, apparently, because the McLarens have gone on sale in North America.
Correct. But that's not where the problem is, Robin.
No.
Because I've done Ferrari rides. I did one, and there was a Ferrari driver that came up to 97.5 when I was there. And those are 15-mile-an-hour streets around City Line Avenue, where I was working. And this guy says, let me take you for a ride. So I actually videoed that. And this guy was driving, and I literally couldn't even video because this guy was driving so fast. And I can't believe we didn't get stopped by a cop. But the guy was doing test driving, and it was amazing sitting in a Ferrari when that thing's cranking like 100 miles an hour in a small street where the speed limit's like 30.
Mm-hmm.
But people do that. When they get fast cars, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Where are they going to drive these cars? They're not meant to go 45 or 50 miles an hour. You're spending like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I think the McLaren is something like $168,000 or something crazy like that, or maybe even more. I'm not sure. But
now we've got to go to Canada.
Yeah, let's go to Canada.
Actually, BC, British Columbia.
Somebody purchased one of these beautiful new cars.
No, was it a McLaren?
It was a McLaren.
It was a McLaren.
It was
That's
a
right.
McLaren. Purchased it.
Do we have tape?
And we have here's the news story, Tony. I have the news story.
Let's go to your McLaren desk. And your correspondent, Miss Robin.
Took was 10 minutes. That's how long the new owner of a supercar in West Vancouver was able to drive his new toy before police pulled him over and impounded it. Police say the 39-year-old was driving almost double the speed limit, going 161 in a 90 zone. The brand new 2019 McLaren 600 LT was stopped around 10 p.m. on Highway 1 near 15th Street on June 17th. Police say the vehicle was towed from the scene and impounded for 7 days for excessive speeding. And the driver from Coquitlam received a $368 ticket.
Anytime a vehicle is increased in speed, it ups your chances of catastrophic events. It can affect the driver as well as the people around the driver. So when vehicles are traveling at these extreme high rates of speed, your reaction time to react to other drivers on the road is significantly limited. So it's not so much about the driver's abilities or their perceived abilities as much as it is about having to react to other drivers on the road.
With the long weekend approaching, police are warning people to slow down.
Wait a minute. So this dude, 39-year-old rich guy,
Yep.
drops, how much was the cost of that thing?
Let's see. It cost.
She said the price in
Oh,
there,
it
but
was in U.S. dollars, $256,000.
so $256,000. And the numbers she gave were in kilometers, not miles.
Correct.
Because he was doing 160 kilometers.
So 160 kilometers are about 155 miles per hour in a 55 mile per hour zone.
Yeah, that's pretty fast. But here's the thing, and here's the best part. The guy buys the car 10 minutes after he buys the car, before he even got to smell that new car scent. He takes it out and he cranks it up, and then he gets stopped and the car impounded, and he only had to pay a $350 fine?
I know that doesn't seem like a lot, does it? Well, at least he didn't hurt anybody, I guess.
No, I understand, but I'm saying I get a ticket, a parking ticket. I got to go to the impoundment lot. I got to pay $300 plus towing fees, and I didn't even drive. I was parked. I wasn't even driving my car.
So
That's an outrage.
So, in other words, you're going to want to move to Canada.
Vancouver, eh? In BC. That's Sophie Liu with the Global Vancouver News. Hello.
So this brings into a good segue what we were then watching on the What on Earth. It seemed very plausible that all these rich people from United Arab Emirates that have these really fancy cars.
The sheiks hit the fan.
They can't drive it around their local neighborhoods because they will get caught by the police, who also have those big fancy
that's the thing
cars.
over there. So these guys have fancy cars because they're rich, and then the cops have even fancier, more souped up cars so they can catch these suckers.
So,
but here's the problem, though, before we get into this other story. Why buy a car?
I know.
If you can't, this isn't like Germany. We can go on the Autobahn. If you got a car that's meant to go 160 miles an hour and you buy it and you can't go 160, I'm not saying on the streets. I'm saying places, because where else are you going to drive these cars?
I know.
Where are you going to drive a car? Are you going to go 55 in a McLaren?
Other than for racing purposes, why would you even buy a car? I mean, I know that
a lot of these people buy them and they put them in garages and they can.
And I call it small dick syndrome. Sorry,
this isn't small dick syndrome. Not when you got a McLaren or you got a bed. Not when you got a $300,000 car.
But
you're talking about guys with the big pickup trucks that are jacked up.
I know, but
that's the cars you always make fun of. IROCs, those cars.
There's a lot of people, and and I really shouldn't call that anymore because it's women as well. That it's a status thing. You know, they just want to show it off. It's goofy to me. It really is.
No, it's not. That's what people with money. It's toys. It's toys for rich people. No poor suckers buying a Ferrari. You got to have money. Even if I was a multimillionaire, I would never buy one of those cars and actually live it and have it down here.
Well, no. I mean,
I wouldn't even drive it down here. No, I'm not for speeding purposes.
If you were a multimillionaire, though, would you be living in South Philly?
Probably, because I like to keep it local, keep it real, keep it raw.
But
never forget where I came from.
This is the segue into the United Arab Emirates. It made sense that they would then have some place to go, go drive really fast around the track.
By the way, we have a correction in the subtraction here. He was going 160 kilometers in a 90-kilometer zone, but technically in U.S. he was going like 103 miles an hour in a 55 zone.
Okay.
So that's the equivalent. So when you say 102 miles an hour is not fast, you try going 102 miles an hour, and obviously when they see this car and they hear it, and he's going 160 kilometers in a 90-kilometer, that's still 50 kilometers over the speed limit, just like 50 miles an hour over a speed limit in this country. And people say, well, I drive 102 miles an hour on the Atlantic City Expressway when I got to get down there to get some action at the Borgata.
I've done it. When I lived up in the Bay Area and I was working up in Pleasanton, living in San Jose, my then husband had a Saab Turbo, and I was driving home late. I was I was trying to get home fast, and I got it up to 110.
Dean drives 102 miles an hour every day on 275 in Tampa. And that's a regular car. But my point is, if you got this car, and it's a car that's supposed to go fast, you're not driving it to the grocery store.
No.
You know, you're driving this to go fast.
But the funny thing is he only had it for 10 minutes.
I know, that is unbelievable.
10 minutes.
10 minutes after you pull out of the...
That's driving it off the lot, and boom.
And only going 102 miles an hour and then get pulled over and have your car impounded. That's an embarrassment right now. I know you can take it to a racetrack, but how many places there are, like the small tracks. Like you take it up to Pocono in a super speedway.
Right.
I don't know if they let you go out there with your McLaren or your Ferrari and ride around.
They do have days like open.
Not even to race somebody else, just to get that thing and open it up and then, feel the power, feel the electricity, feel the alacrity.
S Falcon 39 says, "Hey, did you guys talk about Klay Thompson signing 5-year?"
I didn't see that yet because nothing can happen right now. That's the problem with with the basketball free agency stuff.
He says 5-year, 190.
5 years, $190 million, which is, I guess, the most they can offer him. Ridiculous.
So anyway, circling around this big racetrack, it was not. They finally they
thought it was for people with their fast cars.
It was not.
And it had like 2 roads. It looked like 2 tracks, car roads with asphalt with arrows on them.
It had like the tracks for like regular asphalt with arrows on it going in one direction, and then right next to it, it looked like it had a dirt track.
No, that was right in the middle of it.
Yeah. So
when you zoom in from the satellite and you go down to ground level.
But so there were these 2 tracks running parallel to each other, and anybody that doesn't know, we're like, what the heck is that? Well, we found out, and it might be my new favorite racing type of sport ever, because camel racing is huge.
Not camel toe racing.
No,
That's
no.
a different thing. They usually do that at night, and and there's videos for that if you want to watch it. But hey.
Camel racing in that region is very, very popular, just like horse racing is here. And it used to be because camels don't run fast when they have a heavier person on it. So
but they run fast. They run like 40 miles an hour.
They run
I
very
didn't
fast.
know that.
And so they would have children that were the jockeys. Well, it became illegal for them to use children because
they were basically taking kids from other countries as slaves, bringing them over there to use them as jockeys because of their size.
So,
some of them as young as 5 years old.
Absolutely not. So it became illegal, thank God. So what did they do? Well, let's show you. It is our new favorite racing tradition, unlike any other. And I think that we need to start doing it here in the United States, Tony.
Let's go to your camel racing desk. And no, she's not going to talk about camel toes. She's going to talk about camel racing. And she doesn't smoke camels, filtered, unfiltered, or any other way. Miss Robin.
For centuries, the Arabs held camel races to celebrate special occasions. But in the last 50 years, camel racing has been transformed, echoing changes that have swept all across Arabia. Now, this is one of the richest sports in the world. The winner of this race stands to win $1 million. The prize money at stake means that 21st century camel racing has moved far beyond anything these camel handlers' grandparents could have imagined. In today's camel races, modern technology is in the driving seat. Literally. To save on weight, jockeys have been replaced by robots, weighing no more than a laptop. The camel trainers drive alongside. They scream instructions to their camels through a speaker on the robot. The frenzy is added to by the fevered excitement of the race commentator, broadcasting live to the nation. When an extra burst of speed is needed, each robot carries a whip, which the trainer operates by remote control.
And the camel race is in the middle. And they're using robots with whips and speakers.
So I'm going to let you narrate now, Tony. I mean, it is, they are frothing at the mouth.
I saw this last night.
So now, instead of the kids writing, the kids are like
on the walkie-talkies, shouting out instructions to the not to the jockey. The jockey's done with a joystick.
Yes.
To whip that camel down the stretch.
And the reason why from space you could see the two tracks parallel is because all of these owners are racing in their cars right next to the camel track, and they're keeping in pace, and it's just a complete, utter chaos free-for-all.
It's unbelievable. You got to watch this video if you haven't seen it. I saw it on What on Earth last night.
It's my new favorite thing. I want to
I love it too. By the way, we have the winner of one of the preliminary races. This was in the Kandahar Derby, and we have the winner with the post-game interview.
There's probably going to be a commercial.
No, play it. It is a commercial.
Yes.
It's the commercial that I'm running. Bring it up, please.
Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day. Ronnie, how happy are folks who save hundreds of dollars switching to Geico? I'd say happier than a camel on Wednesday.
Hump day!
Get happy. Get Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
Sometimes a lady wear tracks. It's hump day. Ronnie, how
day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey. Uh-oh. Guess what? Guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike.
Here's the camel toe song.
This is a camel toe song?
There's many camel toe songs, believe it or not.
I did not know that.
That's why you tune into the show every day, Robin, on Twitch TV, BrunoNation Live.
Well,
it's got a good beat. I expect to hear this the next time I'm on a tropical beach somewhere having a painkiller. Everybody now.
Now, I have not actually done any kind of research to find out how, like, if camels have the same type of issues if they fall or anything like that. Camels, unlike horses, have there's two things playing on your computer at the same time.
I can't get the other one to turn off, Robin. That's the problem.
Camels are much sure, they have a much steadier gait, and they're sure of foot.
I didn't realize they ran that fast. They run 40 miles an hour.
Yeah. Well, they have really, really long legs. What's the
But there's a lot of animals with long legs that can't run fast.
What is
By the way, the French now with a free kick, Robin. It's still 1-0 USA. They're in the 40th minute of the first half. France-USA quarterfinal action in France.
Okay, let's just do an average here. So an ostrich, long legs, good runner.
But nobody's riding on top of an ostrich.
I know, but they on average can do 43 miles per hour. A camel, 40 miles per hour. A lion, just in full strut, 50 miles per hour. And a cheetah, between 65 and 75 miles per hour.
Yes, but nobody's riding
I
those
know.
animals.
Now I'm going to find out a horse, a racehorse average.
Yes, we are going to do another Into the Night show tonight. The day-night doubleheader.
So an average racehorse, excuse me, does approximately 40 to 45 miles per hour.
So my point is they run, and this is what I'm saying is you wouldn't think that.
Yeah.
You've seen racehorses. They're sinewy. Camels are big. You know, they're not like horses.
Right.
They're top-heavy. And so you would never think
that they could
would be able to be able to run as fast as a thoroughbred racehorse. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, they're right there on par with camels.
Tony, how fast can Robin run? That's I know I can outrun her and she can't catch me. I'll tell you that right now. I'm 67 and I guarantee you in a 40-yard dash I would destroy Robin.
Yeah, I'm running is not my forte.
Even though your mom is a marathon runner.
But put me in the water, Tony.
Well, yeah, but we're talking about running right now. We're not talking about swimming. What's the matter with you?
I'll leave your ass behind.
It's ridiculous. So they didn't score, the French and the Francais. And we're approaching halftime. 42nd minute now, 1-0 USA over France in the quarterfinal game. See a lot of people falling down, chicks falling down. Hot chicks falling down in the hot, hot sun. You know what I'm saying? What do you want to see? Oh, the foot race between me and Robin? I'll run in flip-flops and destroy Robin in whatever shoes she wants to wear. Adidas. Boy, there's those stinking French chicks that are just pushing everybody down from behind. This shit's going to get ugly soon here if they don't come control. Everything is a push from the from the back. Not as sexy and as exciting as Brian Dozier and his little back that thing up in the dugout with the Washington Nationals last night, Robin. I may have to watch that again after the show. Dean says, I think we have some content. Robin and Tony go for a run out tonight. Luigi can record it. I got money on Robin. What are the odds right now? We may have to place Vegas odds on these.
No, because I'm saying that you are faster than me. Even now that you slowed down, you're probably faster.
One of the things I always had, Robin, was speed.
You do.
I was quick. I was a pretty good runner.
I think it's because you lived in a neighborhood where
you had to run. You had to run away when your mom would call. You had to. She's screaming your name at night. Antonio! And then you would get around so she didn't know that you knew that she knew that you knew that she could hear you or see you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no way I'm going to need oxygen at 40 yards. I can burn at 40. Remember when I challenged...
You challenged...
David Boreanaz to a 40-yard dash.
And he was ready to come out here and do it. We were going to do it as a special fundraiser,
charity
event.
And by the way, he would have destroyed me.
Oh, he totally would have.
But that's before my knees and back were shot.
But
even with bad knees, I can still run short distances.
Right.
I can't.
But it would have been a charity thing, and the station went, nah.
Will you be wearing New Balance? What kind of cheap sneakers do you have, Robin?
Right now, I only have flip-flops.
No, I don't mean what you're wearing. I'm talking about upstairs in your shoe closet. In your Imelda Marcos shoe closet.
I have some fantastic Skechers.
Skechers?
Yeah.
The ones Tony Romo wears?
M. Lewis 5150. We have no faith in you, Tony.
Thanks a lot.
Clarky Bob says, we need to handicap this race. Tony runs after finishing one bottle of cab.
Oh, that's easy.
Now, if I finish a bottle of cab, I might be faster. That might actually work to my favor.
Anyway, enough about camel racing and camel toes.
Lexi's dad, if Robin dresses like she did last Friday night, she's going to get 2 black eyes.
I don't get that.
Oh, because
Oh, I get it now. I get it now.
No. I had those babies strapped in last week.
They were locked down.
They were locked down.
In an upright and locked position.
Thanks to Victoria's Secret.
Exactly. And what is her secret anyway? Why has no one ever found out what Victoria's Secret really is?
I don't know, but her secret, I like it. Whatever she does. I think there's a lot of people out there that like Victoria's Secret, even if they don't know what it is.
Now, I got a question in the final 15 minutes, because do we have any other updates that we have to get to, Robin? We gave you the horse racing, camel racing. We gave you the speeding on a brand new McLaren 10 minutes after you drive it off the driveway of the...
We do, actually.
The dealer's lot.
We have a Florida update.
Oh, we have?
Yes.
Why didn't you say so?
We have a Florida update.
Are you ready for it?
A Florida snowball update.
Snowball?
Or snowflake, excuse me.
I was going to say snowballs.
Snowflake update.
I know they do 8 balls down there. I didn't know about snowballs. Let's go to your Florida desk, ladies and gentlemen. And she always keeps her eye on Florida. For you. And for that, we appreciate you.
Down to Florida, we welcome you to the Sunshine State.
Yep.
They're kicking back and soaking up the rays.
Every day in Florida. By the way, people are asking what my shirt says, because I say, Robin, not to have the one shot too close. It says Stunads on there, not Stugats. That's the Jewish guy in Miami who uses an Italian bad word for his name. Stunad is close, but it's not about balls. It's about being stupid assholes, basically. And now let's go to our Florida update, already in progress with Miss Robin.
Dateline Orlando, Florida, where pretty soon you're going to have even more snowflakes. And
what do you mean?
We're not talking about the
Not cocaine? Another big cocaine bust going on down there?
And we're not talking about children that can't handle criticism or anything like that.
We're not talking about, people who are
we're
calling, whether it's a liberal calling a Republican or a conservative little snowflake or vice versa.
We are not talking about that. The white albino gators.
Gators?
One of whom is called Snowflake, a 25-year-old female, and Blizzard, the male, a 14-year-old male.
Oh, I saw him at Dairy Queen the other day. Yeah.
They have been procreating, and
when are they going to have sex, though? I mean, all this foreplay crap doesn't work with lizards.
And
by the way, hang on, Robin.
Oh.
It is halftime now. We have reached the first half, the end of the half, and Team USA leads the Francais. Les Day 1-0. Now back to our Florida update, already in progress.
So Snowflake and Blizzard have a clutch, that is what it's called, a clutch of 19 eggs, and because both father and mother
They're called clutches?
Yes, both mom and dad are albino, there is a very good chance that there will be 19 new albino alligators that are going to join their parents at the what's the park
What's the
called?
zoo down there?
It's called the Wild Florida Airboats and Gator Park. I think that's the one that
Yeah,
we drove
we went
by, didn't
there.
you?
Yeah, that's the one I said, don't go on that. That's a tourist trap. Let's go to Everglades National Park and see it in the wild.
So if you are watching on Twitch right now, you will see mom and dad basking in the sun in their glorious...
How big are these albino alligators?
Let's see. Do they have any sizes on
Yeah, they
here?
have to have sizes. Size matters, Robin.
Size matters. Well, apparently not according to this this particular... But anyway, the albinos are super fragile, if you did not know this.
We're all fragile, Robin.
But
is it fragile or fragile?
I say
Fragile
fragile.
in Italian, of
Yes.
course. If it says fragile on the box, it must be Italian.
They first of all, when they're first born, anything will eat them because they're bright white. They have very poor vision, and they also get sunburned. Did you know that?
So they're not really benefiting from white privilege in any way, shape, or form.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. Also, Blizzard, the male, is housed with the female.
So they're together all the time?
Yes.
Do they have to bang more than once to produce 18 eggs?
Well, I'm not exactly sure how gator sex works, but I'm assuming that it's a fertilization of eggs kind of thing.
It's a fertilization sensation.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's extremely rare for albino alligators to be born in captivity. So this is a very exciting event.
So when does she do? That's the old joke. When she do?
Well, she's
And
already
then you're
laid-
supposed to say, when she do what, Robin?
Oh, when she do what? Well, she's already done it. They've already done it. And she is protecting her eggs.
How many eggs again? 19?
19
Is
eggs.
that like a baker's dozen and a half?
I don't know.
So let's see. It does. So that's 1 over a dozen and a half. Because a dozen is 12, 6 is 18. You can't even get them at because they put 18 eggs sometimes. When you go to the market, we get like the Eggland's Best 18 egg count.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good
so
deal.
One of them would be kind of off to the side if we did that.
Exactly.
But I think they're also bigger. They're like,
big eggs?
Big. The eggs are
Are
bigger.
they edible for human? Are they good for human consumption?
I'm sure you could eat one, but it would be kind of like the balut eggs because they would have been fertilized, so you'd get little crunchies in there.
Now, can people go down to this wild animal and airboat ride? And
you can see them if you would like. And let's see
what happens if the mom gator Snowflake is constantly on the nest. Does she move away and leave? Because obviously they're protected. It's not like there's no other animals that are going to come in and predators and kill them, right?
She's a very, very good mom, but they have taken them out to a climate-controlled incubator to give them a better chance of hatching.
Oh, so she's not even sitting on the damn eggs.
And they've given her a substitute.
Lazy bitch.
They've given her a substitute because raccoons could come in, destroy alligator eggs.
Mhm.
Fire ants.
So they
could come
put
in.
fake eggs in there, making her think that she's sitting on her own eggs
That
or
is
sitting on her own
correct.
eggs.
Yes. So because Florida also has varied temperatures to make sure that these eggs.
It's sort of
have
like the wine
best
cellar where we have to maintain a certain humidity and wine temperature so that it doesn't become vinegar.
Now, the park is hoping to launch an albino baby gator live feed when it is due, when they are timed to hatch.
Oh, we'll have a live alligator cam?
Yes, I will keep everybody posted.
Is
I'm
Cam
sure.
Newton going to be there? That's what I want to know.
Let's go to
Cam in the cage down there with the alligators. When does she do it, did they say, Robin?
I don't know how long it says that. It doesn't actually say how long gator eggs incubate for.
That's bad knowledge right there.
I know. This is just a very poorly written article.
Guess who scored the only goal for U.S. in the first half, Robin?
I'm sorry. It was my fault. The incubation period of alligator is about 60 days.
60 days.
60 days.
And then it's the interest compounded daily after they get past 60 days? That Megan Rapinoe, she may be a bad American, but she's a great soccer player. Unbelievable move with the ball, almost from midfield, because I didn't see the goal. She sets up a pass. They did not score. And then she comes down the left sideline, cuts over to the middle, passes it, another shot, save. Then she's at midfield again. Again, running down the left wing. She's clear. The goalie falls down. She gets up, and then
she's almost
they set up a pass. No, I think she was offside.
She was
but then she scored a goal in an unbelievable through a screen from the left side. That's the only goal of the half. She kicked one from way in the left-hand side, and there were a bunch of people in front of the French goalie, and it somehow found its way through. It wasn't deflected. It was clean through the screen. That's almost like insane in the membrane. U.S. and France, 5 shots each, 2 corners for the French, 1 for the U.S. And the U.S. scores, and it's 1-0. It's halftime in Paris.
Tony, I have more breaking news.
More breaking news now?
More breaking news.
Is this like real breaking news?
Yes.
Not fake breaking news?
Not fake breaking news. The fabulous Paul Munoz, who used to be marketing director for
Michael and David Winery.
Yeah, Michael and David Winery.
For so many years.
And actually, I think he wasn't the director of marketing. He was one of the marketing employees.
Correct.
And he felt like he needed to, he wanted to do more. He wanted to learn. His job had gotten stale for him because he'd done so well there.
Yep.
So he was looking for new opportunities. And he is now he's the top dude at Oak. Excuse me. Let me see. I have to make sure that
it's
I say
up in
that.
Lodi as well, right?
It's up in Lodi, but he is now the new marketing
Is it
director.
Red Oak?
It is called Oak Ridge.
Oak Ridge. I'm not the Oak Ridge Boys, of course.
No, it is Oak Ridge Ridge Winery in Lodi. And guess what he said? He asked, he goes, hey, do you guys need a shipment?
Let me see. Is the Pope no longer Catholic?
So
Do bears shit in Roxborough, Pennsylvania on the city streets?
he is very excited that we are on daily again. He is now the
Not Oak Hill Academy.
He's like the big wig there now. And I was looking up Oak Ridge. Oak Ridge is available nationwide, but right at their location in their tasting room, they have some other type higher end.
Yeah, the smaller batch stuff.
Smaller batch stuff.
Mhm.
One of which I love the name of this. Hopefully the taste lives up to its name. It is called Old Soul.
Well, that's what I am.
Isn't that awesome?
Do they have Battered Performer to name after me?
I love the fact that it's Old Soul, and it is a winery that is owned by the Maggio family. I think they might be Italian.
Maggio?
Maggio. They might. They just a little. Just thinking.
You know what they say?
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
No, it's always good.
Yes.
We got to go up there to Lodi.
Yes. And it's an Italian family that owns it. It's a smaller, but
It's in Lodi, which is not in Sonoma County.
Correct.
Lodi is up more towards Sacramento, right? Because we've never been to Lodi, even though we loved all the Michael and David wines. We'd never been to the winery. Dean actually went out there last year, and he visited. He said it's a beautiful property.
Your son AJ is.
My son's going out there in August and he texted me yesterday.
Yes, so we are going to arrange for AJ to get a personalized tour of, because what's really cool is not only do they have the wine tasting there, but they have the entire bottling factory all in one
Oh yeah,
location.
it's a nice facility. I want to go out there.
Yeah, it looks like it's absolutely amazing, and we are looking forward to making a trip up there so that we can also visit the Swedish Chef in Sonoma.
It's south of Sonoma, Lodi.
Yes. So he's going to be sending us a special package, and we'll be able to taste all of their fantastic wines. Very excited about that. And he's looking forward to becoming involved in Red Wine Friday again.
And one of the things we learned about Lodi, even though I haven't been there, we've been all over the wine country, is that Zinfandel grapes, ancient and old vine grapes, really do well.
Mhm.
Because, there's different regions where the climate's different. California, the reason that there's so many great grape vintages is because there's so many different regions where there's low-lying areas where they get more cool temperatures at night, and you have to have the right weather. For some reason, and we've said this a lot because we've tried a lot of different Zins, red Zinfandels from all the regions of California. To me, the Lodi Zinfandels, the red Zins, not the white Zins, because basically white Zin is just is a grape that's been squeezed 3 times until there's just a little bit of pink left.
Correct.
That's what it is. It's like they still have they still have a little bit of juice in them on the skin, and then they just squeeze those things as hard as they can.
Oftentimes they have to add sugar to give it some fermentation flavor.
I mean, we're breaking down great knowledge here right now.
Rich Dragon is now following. Thank you so much.
Is he a rich dragon, or is that his name?
Know. Or maybe he's rich and he's dragging a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of wine. I mean, that's the wine country. That's why it's called the wine country. And I've been to so many of the wineries, whether it's Napa or Sonoma, but we've never been to Lodi, Robin.
No, I think it's about time that we should make a trip back out there. We have many, many different invitations. And, of course, it would make my mother happy.
But that's too far away from your mom, though. We may not be able to visit her on that particular trip.
Well, she maybe have to come up to Sonoma with us. But we love the Chandries, and we love the Chandry wines. Which is also a small family-owned vineyard. And then now I'm very curious and excited to try the Maggio family Oak Ridge Winery. And we will always like Michael and David. But, hey, variety is the spice of life, right?
You know what we're going to say, Robin? It's Richard Dick Dragon. You remember this song, Robin? Creedence Clearwater
AJ
Revival.
Mark is asking if I know any Livermore. Yeah, Livermore does have.
Yes,
wineries.
you know what's up in Livermore, right where John Madden pretty much owns most of that area. That's the
Frog's Leap, right?
No, that Frog's Leap is in the Frog's Leap district is in what do you call it?
right
in Napa.
The bocce place in Livermore abuts one of the wineries.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of the name of it, and it's a pretty well-known Wente. That's what it is. Wente. Wente Winery up there in Livermore.
So
You're not going to stump me on wine regions, Robin.
Gladney, North Carolina is asking, what are we drinking tonight?
I don't know.
Well, we will unsheath the bottles that we will be drinking tonight later. Not sure yet.
We'll be pouring nothing but the cheapest wine we can find. No, I'm just kidding.
We might actually
We
have
will
to-
serve no cheap wine before it's time.
Maybe we'll make a quick trip to the Total
The fine
Wines and
wine. No, we're not going to Jersey to buy wine.
No.
And I got to pay for a toll.
Oh, that's bad.
I'm going to go to Ed Nasta's personally endorsed. I'm not going all the way up to Newtown, Bucks County in the traffic. No, we won't get back here for the
Fine
show.
Wines.
We're going to go to the Fine Wines and Good Spirits store.
Otherwise known
as the State store. As the State store. No Boone's Farm. I said Wenty up there in Livermore. We've been there. You know what else I've been, Robin? Well, I haven't been there, but I want to go to up in old Lodi. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he was singing about the Lodi wine region, was he?
Why not? Maybe that's what inspired him. Although Lodi, for a long time, before the wineries started there, it was kind of a pit. People considered it like a middle of nowhere, nothing much to do there. When the wineries started coming in, it really blossomed.
Time again tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern.
10
There's no Bevmos here. There's no wine, there's not a lot of really independent-only wine, like wine-only stores like there are in other states. Now, the supermarkets have wine and beer, now, most of them. But if you want really like a collection, I mean, the supermarkets in Florida have more wine selection and variety than some of these state liquor stores here. Now, most of them are bigger where you can push a cart around. It's not like it used to be where you walked up to a counter and had to ask for it and they went in the back and got it. Did you say unsheath? No, I do not get loyalty checks from the Madden games. If I did, would I be sitting in my basement right now talking about Lodi and wine? Yeah, I probably would. By the way, now one of our listeners is angry with me because of my cheap shot at Megan Rapinoe. It wasn't a cheap shot. I was joking. She can do whatever she wants. I made a joke about her. She's down and she's on one knee. See, it's a joke. I don't care who goes to the White House. When I go to the White House, it's usually in Atlantic City to get a good sub.
Is this the same song, just a different version?
Yes.
Same song, different day?
This is Jeffrey Foucault, whoever the Foucault he is. Fogarty did the best version of Lodi.
Yes, he did.
Is there a better version? Now, Oak Ridge is in Lodi, California, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's what I'm asking, Robin. You have all the information in front of you, and you gave breaking news. I don't have that information at my disposal.
Yes, it is in Lodi. Exactamundo.
We have an address, a street address.
You know what? I'll give it on the show tonight.
It's pretty rural. I mean, it's not like in a city.
No,
it's rural.
I mean, because you got vineyards out there. It's not like things are right next to each other. You have to drive from.
But I saw they have a nice big look. The tasting room. If you look on their website, they get great reviews, and it says on the website, you see the tasting room. It looks like a big wine barrel.
Yeah, it's like
big
one
cask.
of huge, oversized.
Yeah.
Tower cask kind of thing. Very cool looking, and then it's obviously. They've made it into, and then it looks like they serve food there too.
Well, most of these wineries now have a nice restaurant. You go outside and you see the wine, you see the vineyards behind you. Just a beautiful, beautiful place. Is there anything better than having lunch al fresco with grapevines behind? Well, our buddy Luigi, my brother from another mother. Not Luigi. Luigi will be here tonight, though, in the night version, he says. He's coming back after work. He'll be all sweaty and angry and pissed off, but that'll make for a better Friday night show. Because then we'll drink wine. And he'll become melancholy, and we'll sing melancholy baby songs. I'm looking for a musical. Oh, we're in overtime already.
Yes, we are.
I'm looking for what should be the mood tonight. What should we do tonight to make the show extra juicy?
I don't know, but speaking of extra juicy, it's come to that portion of the show where I really need to use the restroom because I've been sitting here for the entire thing.
Robin,
without a break.
I'm the one who has prostate issues. Have I gotten up one time to drain the lizard or drain the dragon?
But I drink a lot of water because I get dehydrated, and so.
Basically, you're giving the audience the bum's rush after just 5 extra minutes.
Yes.
This is like we tacked on injury time to the show. 5 minutes injury time. We're in the 48th minute. There's a corner. Let's hold it right here for the corner kick, Robin. Megan Rapinoe corner. 1-0 USA. This one could pretty much put a damper on the Francais. Madames from Francais. Kick the damn corner so we can get off the air. She's sizing up the field. She's looking. She's got her hand in the air. Here's the corner. It's in front of the net, and it's still loose. And then the French clear it. Wow, that baby was hanging in front of the goal crease area for a long time. And Bernie Perrant finally makes the save and kicks it out to Joe Watson, who ices the soccer ball. We'll see you tonight, everybody. Thanks for tuning in today. All over the world, Twitch TV. Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. And God bless America.
See you tonight, everybody.
See you later into the night.
This knife has a straight edge on it, so it's very easy. Maybe in our world here, there live a happy little mountain.
Thank you for listening to the Tony Bruno Show on BrunoNation Live. Don't forget to subscribe on the Twitch mobile app so you don't miss any of BrunoNation's hilarity and hijinks, because it is definitely must-watch radio. Of course, you can catch the archived audio on your favorite podcast app like Spreaker or iTunes. Plus, if you subscribe via Twitch, you can watch any of our archived videos. We hope to see you back here every Monday through Friday. See you soon!